I would seriously.
What's the eighth? The eighth, like a Sunday? Saturday.
Station right there in Bangor.
Saturday.
Yeah, we got a bus there. Awesome. Awesome. For this area. Well. Or are they just trying to make more money? No, like, yeah, there's probably a little bit of everything, but if you look at. We already got the roads to the south of the streets. They cover quite a area.
You ready?
Eight.
Okay, we're gonna call the meeting to order. 7 p.m. Pledge allegiance. States to the republic, which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Jason. Here. Tara.
Here.
Ken's here, Mary's absent. Gary?
Here.
Gary's here, we're all here. Agenda, I have some things to add. For old business, I need to add the land division revision that we had last month. And that will be 1.7, not 1.7, but I.7. And for new business on Jan 16th, I want to keep that whole sentence, but I want to remove entering into a closed session. Laura informed me that only applies to land sales and personal property. So we're not going to go into closed session, but we're going to discuss a bid. Is there any other questions on the agenda?
Like you said, my computer wasn't. What are you adding to old business?
Land division. The 7-1. No. Not 7-1.
What,
5-7.
G16.
And new business, remove the words entering into closed session. Is there any other changes, additions? Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as changed?
So move.
Gary made a motion, second.
Well, second.
Jason, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda. Do we have any additions, corrections to the previous meeting minutes?
Did you mean to skip public comment?
Did I miss that again? I had a big star by it, so I wouldn't miss it. Yes, public comments on agenda item.
I do have some, but I don't think I'm gonna know.
Well, I have one.
You want me to read this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright. Public comment, opposition to short-term rentals in Columbia Township. Good evening, members of the board. For clarification, I strongly believe in limited government and in people's right to use their property as they see fit. However, what we are discussing here is not personal use. This is commercial business activity in residential neighborhoods, and that distinction matters. My comments tonight are not emotional or personal. They are about protecting the long-term health, character, and safety of Columbia Township and its residents. Current zoning and legal context. As of today, short-term rentals are not a permitted use in Columbia Township's residential districts. Operating a business in a residential area, such as an Airbnb or VRBO rental, is not allowed under current zoning. Michigan appellate precedent, including Ream versus Township of Spring Lake, confirms that STRs can be considered motel-type uses and therefore fall outside the scope of permitted residential use. The township already has the legal authority to enforce these zoning rules, and residents have shown strong support for that enforcement. Over 100 residents signed a petition asking the township to uphold the current rules and maintain the residential integrity of our neighborhoods. Community impact and quality of life. Illegal STRs have already caused measurable problems: trespassing, excessive garbage, noise, parking issues, and even a dog attack. These are not isolated incidents. They are predictable consequences of converting residential homes into commercial transient lodging. STRs disrupt the neighborhood peace, erode community trust, and shift the burden of enforcement onto residents. Neighbors should not be forced to track license plates, report violations, or confront guests. Once short-term rentals are permitted, enforcement becomes nearly impossible and residents are left in a constant position of conflict rather than community. Master plan and township resources. Allowing STRs conflict with Columbia Township's master plan, which prioritizes preserving residential character, protecting natural resources, and maintaining stable, safe neighborhoods. Our township has limited resources: one unreliable fire truck, a small EMT staff, and growing infrastructure needs. Opening the door to STRs would increase emergency calls, inspections, and complaints, stretching the township's capacity even further. This is not consistent with limited government principles and prudent resource management. The myth of STRs have always been here. Some argue that STRs have existed here for decades. Historically, residents occasionally rented part of their homes to supplement income, but they lived on the property and they were part of the community. Today, STRs are different. They are commercial businesses mostly owned by out-of-state investors operating in residential neighborhoods without contributing to community life. Passing this ordinance would signal that Columbia Township is open for STR investment. Investors who were pushed out of nearby towns with stricter regulations, such as South Haven, would likely buy available properties here. This would inflate home prices, displace full-time residents, and accelerate the conversion of neighborhoods into transient commercial zones. This shift could occur rapidly and be effectively irreversible. It's also important to note that investment properties generate less revenue for the township than primary residences. We would be trading stable, long-term taxpayers for temporary tourism income that does not cover the increased burdens on public safety and infrastructure. Many lakefront homes have been in the same families for generations, 30, 60, even more years. These families are part of the community fabric. STRs place them at risk of being surrounded by transient occupants, noise, and turnover, conditions that undermine the character, safety, and long-term cohesion of Columbia Township. Shared lots of private easements are also at risk of misuse for commercial gain. Allowing STRs could create legal disputes, reduce neighbors' rights, and fundamentally alter the expectations under which people purchase their properties. The proposed ordinance is heavily weighted in favor of STR operators. It creates the appearance of regulation, but in practice legalizes commercial activity in residential zones, undermining both the zoning ordinance and the master plan. Even with inspection and certification requirements, enforcement is reactive rather than proactive, relying on neighbors to complain. The township does not have sufficient personnel to maintain compliance with occupancy, parking, trash, or quiet hours on a daily basis. This ordinance does not protect residents, it protects operators. Conclusion: the responsible path is to enforce the current zoning laws, not to rewrite them to accommodate commercial STRs. Columbia Township's residents have made their position clear. We value peace, safety, and stable neighborhoods over short-term profit. I respectfully urge the board to reject this ordinance and commit to upholding and enforcing the current zoning standards that protect Columbia Township, our neighborhoods, and our natural environment. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else? Dan, did you wanna, Karen?
Go ahead and go.
There you go. I also submitted something regarding STRs, but that's in the packet. The moratorium has been kicked around since August, I believe. Isn't it important to put the brakes on now, even if you eventually decide to regulate by police power? I see supervisors nominees for the new Construction Board of Appeals. I'm aware that Mario has general trades experience, Frank has electrical experience, but mechanical experience is still missing. I have come to know and respect Dixie, and she does have appeal process experience. My only question is because she's already on zoning board of appeals and the board of review, is it wise to have any one person in all three judicial spots? Some of the appointment terms seem to be off track that were in the agenda. I do believe that Frank Grubishitz PC term does expire this December. I don't think Jay's does. And maybe this can wait until December and we can kind of compare notes and make sure we know whose term is up and whose isn't. I did notice under the Section H, Emergency Services, it appears that the plan is to retrofit the current medical vehicle into a grass rig because we already own a skid and purchase a pumper tanker that would also serve as a medical vehicle. Wouldn't the weight of the water cause slower arrival to medical calls? And wouldn't winter use for medical calls increase the chances of it freezing up? Just asking, I get the idea of multiple use. I did think you were gonna be able to go into closed session and it might be awkward in an auction situation to discuss the figures you'd wanna use. But I imagine you'd have to have an opening bid and a maximum. I don't know if you slide paper, I don't know what's legal, but they need secrecy in an auction, so. Hopefully, the fire department has been able to weigh in on how they would value this, given the other priorities that they also have. Erie also just came across some grant opportunities. And I know that Ken is pretty interested in finishing the budget as soon as possible. But you do already have the bones laid out, and waiting until January would allow you to have 3/4 year of current year activity in order to make more educated projections. I am encouraged that we seem to be considering some more affordable options, a little more creative options until a long-term capital plan is adopted. Thank you.
Anyone else? Dan?
Well, not what I was gonna say, mentioned earlier in the statement you read. But I need to say that I support what he was saying. On the basis of, one thing, our ordinances. We're looking at adding more ordinances to what we have now. And what we have now is not being taken care of. The ordinance aren't being enforced enough. I'm seeing where things aren't really being taken care of. I know there's more than just my neighborhood that are where there's problems, but there's several complaints in my neighborhood. And one in particular has been there for almost 5 years. And complaints, nothing been done. Another one for almost 2 or 3 years, still there. And recently we have another one, where we've had to have emergency services called there due to a fire, and they're still there. It's like nothing's being enforced. So why take on more ordinances for short-term rental even, if we can't enforce the ones that we have? And if they can't be enforced, then we need to hire somebody else, and whoever's taking care of it, possibly should step aside and let someone else do it. Thank you.
Any other public comment? On to F. F1, minutes from the previous meeting. special meeting October 18th, 2025. Any comments? Gary, done?
No, I looked through it, looks like it's, I read with me.
Okay, regular board meeting, 21 of October, 2025. Any comments? Additions, corrections? Jason shaking his head no. Gary?
Nope.
Nope, I got none. Go to accounts payable. Any questions on the invoice register? Gary?
Is that a new reporting format from BSNA? Okay,
That's from the new,
Oh, that's paychecks, yeah. It's very, I haven't found a good one, so I'm like, you can have all of it, but once I find a better one, I will attach that.
is this what's called paycheck or pay?
Paychecks, yeah.
You're talking about the payroll one, right? Or you're talking about both?
they both have a similar format,
Yeah.
it's just different than what we're used to
Okay.
looking at.
Yeah. Anything on, the payroll part? That'll be F3. Gary, Jason?
Nope.
No. Banking balances? Everyone looked at the banking balances, so everything okay? Gary?
I didn't see, oh, wait a minute. I don't think I was down far enough. No, I did look at those, yeah. There was one, question I had looking at the numbers here, but that was answered, by the treasurer, so I'm all good.
Is that also from the,
She puts that together,
okay,
cause she has to pull from different places, I think.
I think we used to have the line that showed the balance in the interest bearing account, didn't we?
Yeah, she explained that to you, I think.
She did say that it's approximately 2 million, but yeah, I agree, it scared me when I first
Yeah.
looked at this and I didn't see
Yeah.
that.
I think for being out of town, she just couldn't pull it
Yeah.
up, but
Yeah,
she did
That was
mention
the only,
that.
that was the only question I had, that was,
Okay.
yeah.
Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second,
Monetary, Jason,
Yes.
Gary,
yes,
or Kara,
Yes,
and Ken, yes. Reports. Fire chief.
We had 17 medical calls and 4 fire. Everything went well. There was a couple of little issues out there in the world, but our staff took care of it.
How many calls do you have for the year? Are we more than last year this time?
Well, right now we have 130 fire calls to date. We have 202 medical calls, and last year we had 132 total medical calls and 299, or excuse me, 132 fire calls total last year and 299. That's for the entire year. So we're about in the right path. We've got 2 more months of reporting to go there. That'll all about the same as what we had last year.
Anything else?
None of this report, no.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the sheriff not here, county commissioner, road commissioner, assessor, got a report in. Gary's got a report in. Anything to say on your report, Gary?
not at this time, I'll wait, till, maybe board comments or we get further down in the agenda. I've got some additional information that's really good.
Okay, Jason, anything?
No, sir.
Mary's absent. Tara?
the election was good and. Thank you for
Election was
coming.
good, huh? Good. 250 people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
My little blurb is on the agenda package FOIAs. We had a few of them this month. We keep getting, the Charter Township Police Department So Jackson County wanting, somebody wanting request from them. We'll, keep answering them that we don't do that. Now we're gonna go to, emergency services. Fire chief equipment update.
Well, we just had 2770 repaired again. The foam system is having a continuous problem. It's been repaired again. And 2780, which is the mule, is having a fuel issue. That's been repaired, put back in service. Well, it's back at the station, it'll be put back in service tomorrow. The small odds and ends are being taken care of. I mean, we're betting cleanup on a lot of little odds and ends. Maintenance on the chainsaws and all that kind of thing, but there's nothing too crazy as far as that goes. I mean, is this where you wanna talk about all of the big ticket items, or is this just a general statement of, you know, 70 being as the citizen put it, unreliable? He's not wrong. Something to think about. We went and we looked at that. I think that's under one of the other things here, was we went out and looked at it.
We met with John Hanson
Yeah,
at,
over there.
Spencer, custom built fire trucks.
Yep. And he's got one, he had 3 of them out. And he sold 2 of them, and there's only 1 left there. And it will do our functions that we were looking for, and he's willing to do some upgrades, and he sat with us. All the officers were out there. To look over that unit, and it was gonna be around, what is it, $550,000 unit after it's been retro.
Yep.
For something that is brand new, other than it's been demoed out there in the world. For other people to buy. They've already sold the other 2 trucks, so there you go. There was a question asked to Spencer's if they could service 2770 and take away some of its problems by just replacing its brains, and they said they'd take a look at it. So we'll get John or I will get it over there at some point. Just to have it taken a look at, and we'll move 22 over while it's being looked at. And there's stopgap measures that we can do. The 2762 is an old truck that was repaired. I can't remember if it was last meeting or if it was between the meetings where 62 went down because the glow plugs, are older than most of, well, maybe as old as the people sitting here are. I look around and everybody's my age, I'm like, okay, never mind, but older than John anyway. But yeah, so we did some repairs to keep it, when the dashboard of 2762, and you touch it and it just crumbles. Because it's so brittle, the truck's old. So we're looking at, putting out some bids for the South Haven units that have gone up for bid. So those are the things we have going on there. I also got an email from a citizen praising our responders, specifically Stephen, who's been our workforce of late, on the night side of the world. And I pulled a quote from her. I've already given this to Stephen, because it's a good attaboy. He walked in and she self-proclaims this place as not being a nice place. It's a filthy place and she's sorry for it. But Stephen didn't bat an eyelash. He got in there and helped. And quote, servitude ain't got nothing on this guy. And she even says, yes, I know the English is wrong, but that's what I wanted to say. So she was very pleased with the service that we've been given. And we've gotten several of those kind of little attaboys, attagirls over the time. So I just thought it would be nice for you guys to hear some positive comments there. There was a couple of issues with some a possible illegal burn and a little bit of boisterous activity that resulted in some law enforcement individuals showing up to assist. Hopefully the situations have been resolved. We've got to be mindful that if we can't talk with our neighbors, regardless of who they are, there's gonna be conflict and that might ensue some other things too, so. Yeah, John and I have been working on getting passwords transferred. Jeremy's working on the new required reporting system from the feds. It's going from Enfers to Nearest. We've made the switch from the state medical reporting from the required image trend, and they switched to First Due. All that's been done. First Due is a worse program to work with than image trend. But the state in its infinite wisdom said, well, cheaper must be better. And so, you know, we're settled with an inferior product because all in the name of let's save a dime. So that's going on. Was there anything from Med Control today that everybody needs to know?
No.
So I didn't get to go to Med Control today. It's the first one I've missed in 3 years, so. Go from there, but I did tender my resignation to the Fire Chiefs Association, so they know that I'm done. Come the 31st next month. And there you go.
Okay, maybe this would be a good, I'm sorry,
I'm done.
okay, maybe this would be a good time for me to jump in on, what the state is, looking at, and, it's really good news for, safety oriented and the safety, yeah, easy for me to say. Safety oriented, municipalities and their departments, okay? State budgets has been approved with, after some grueling things, and there's gonna be a little bit of, less revenue sharing because they're moving tax money from the, gasoline tax out to something else. It was not backfilled, but they're thinking with the sales income, sale tax income revenue, it could be a wash, maybe not, but it's gonna be a little less than what it was, just so everybody knows. Good thing news is this, and I'm gonna read it. Budget includes new public safety fire equipment dollars. Public safety renew sharing grants. The funding for townships, cities and villages includes $35 million annually over a 3-year period. And an additional 7.5 million in one-time funding. Of these funds to be used specifically, for operational and capital expenditures for safety purposes with the amount of 75% has to be directly used or indirectly for law enforcement agencies. So that would be police and that, okay? 25% of that amount can be used for other non-law enforcement related public safety, such as operational emergency medical or firefighter services, capital improvements, and public safety buildings. Okay? Finally, the budget includes a one-time funding of $8 million to assist in the purchase of fire equipment and fire gear for firefighters. Of this amount, half of it, 4 million of it, must be distributed to local units of government that prominently of on-call, part-time, and volunteer fire departments. This is my MTA's on top of this.
Cool.
The applications and the funding mechanism and resources haven't been quite ironed out yet. It looks like on some of this, there may not be any applications or no documentation required. When you just have to get the money. So this is forthcoming and it should be done early May, April or May of this coming year. Okay? So we'll have some money hopefully coming in out of this. With that said, I think that, and I'm not gonna volunteer her, but Kate is pretty good at doing applications for grants. So, I don't know if she's got this or not, but I give it to her. It's in the Township Focus new one publication, which is really good news for fire and safety.
Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it.
Okay? So just want you to know there's money out there available and it has to be spent on people like us.
Even gooder.
Absolutely.
So that's all on that part.
Oh, we got personnel updates.
There was you had sent out a list of who's who in the world of us. I sent it back to everybody of, these people work here, these people don't. And so, I mean, that'll amend a little bit as we get to the end of the year.
When somebody does leave, we have to do like an exit thing to get them out of our payroll.
You don't just need me to say they're gone?
Yeah, we need to,
Bye.
we need to have something that we know that they're gone.
Okay,
Yeah, that's the only thing, because they had, you saw how many I had in there,
there was.
still active.
I mean, some of them were from the Max Streeter era.
Well, he gives me a timesheet with all the active people, so I know who's left and.
Well, then we should have updated BFNA.
Well, is that gonna be good enough for the auditors?
Yeah,
Okay,
But no, I mean, we stay pretty active on the call sheets,
Yeah.
so, I mean, if you need me to alert you
yeah,
that someone new or something.
formal, just like have it in an email or something.
Yeah, like I said, we try to keep the call sheets pretty regular, so.
Yeah. Thank you.
All done?
Other than the roof on Station 2 is, there's still problems there. I mean, all the things that I've reported in the last several months have not changed. But to say them again would be a waste of everybody's time, so it's also there.
Okay, next thing on the agenda is H4, it's apparatus purchase for emergency service, 2770 has reached a 15-year life. It's our first out pumper. It is gonna need a pump overhaul. We are asking Spencer to take a look at that truck and determine if they could put in a new electrical harness and do the overhaul and what the cost would be to make that our second out truck.
Just as a side note, it'll still have to be housed at Station 2 because the only truck that will fit it, one is 22. And the pickup trucks.
Yep. So I guess tonight we need to decide if we're gonna consider purchasing a new pumper tanker, 4-wheel drive to serve the subdivision island along with a base. Where a long base pumper tanker do not have the clearance in that, and basically. That will tell us. Whether we continue trying to. Get a truck, brand new one at this point in time. And when you think that might be a time that we can think about it.
my personal view is based on this opinion from MTA and the money that's coming in. And also, and I understand about the 15-year
Sure.
thing. When I went over and looked at the grass rigs at South Haven. They're in a situation that's. A little bit worse than ours.
So
South Haven. Their first out is at 17 years. And the executive director said he doesn't see any change in that thing for another 4 years.
you talked to Brandon?
Pardon?
You talked to Brandon?
Talked to what?
You talked to Brandon?
Yes, personally.
Cool.
I'm
Our
just
first
not-
out engine's 17 years old.
That's right. And he said, probably nothing will happen for another 4. You can't see it happening. So. My thought process is here. We let Spencer take a look at the rig that we need to have upgraded and stuff and see what it might cost to do that. And by that point in time, since April or May of next year, some of this money is gonna be available to maybe help fund those projects. The other thing is, and no, I'm not gonna comment on what I was gonna think, because I haven't talked to the treasurer that much yet. She's been, anyway, I've got some other ideas that might work. But I don't wanna talk out of turn.
And just put something in perspective on the Shays thing. You're almost absolutely right.
but they also just spent over $1 million on a new stick, on a new aerial. So that's that too, I mean.
Well, that might be, but
Right,
I'm just
but that
saying,
also
he
serves.
said,
Right, no, but that
So
also
much money.
part, no, I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm
Okay.
just saying, to put it in perspective, they didn't, their only engine. First out engine, maybe 17 years, but they just spent over $1 million on a new aerial that can be classified as an engine as well as a pump,
okay,
so.
okay. They also have Casco and some other areas, three other
Absolutely.
stations, so, okay, so there's other funding for that, which we don't have.
No, I'm just, you made it sound like the only engine, their only first out engine was 17 years
No,
old.
I
Now
said
they've
the
got,
first, not the only one,
okay, I'm just
Okay.
putting it in perspective.
perfect, thank you.
Can I add on to that a little bit?
What,
Also on the tone of possibly replacing the brain on 70. So it goes in, expensive, says this is how much it's gonna be. We also have to allot for the downtime of replacing a wire harness on a fire truck.
you've got the backup that you've been using for the last,
What happens if that goes down?
well,
But the problem, the reason I'm bringing it up is at the special meeting, Jason, we were having problem with hypothetical money. We're hoping for that money. We're also hoping for other money. So it's just one of those things, I just need that to be kept informed.
I think it's good,
70s.
I think it's good to have all the information on the table on options, because you can what if everything to death.
100%.
So I agree with you, what you're saying. Where was my thought process on this other money coming in? Get that estimate from Spencer's and stuff, we'll see what's going on. The other thing is that I don't know. I've got the sheet here. Is there a date on this? Columbia Township, there's December 2nd of 24. Of this option that you gave us, JC, about funding them, getting a loan.
Sure.
And at 5% for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years,
That was for the one that we spec'd out last
Correct.
year.
this one.
That's probably off the table now because it's been so long, but yeah, those
Well,
are the numbers at the
okay.
time.
At the
Absolutely.
time, it was like $318,000.
Absolutely.
Now, obviously, that's a while ago, so things have increased. I get that, okay? My point was, with this, if we did do this and have this other money coming in, even if we don't, and again, I'm not gonna bring up what I think we can do here, because I don't know for sure. But if that was done with $100,000 down payment, we might be able to do this float loan and use some other money that's available for the annual payment. Okay,
We get the truck, but we just finance the truck.
that's what I'm saying. What
Right.
if?
Okay.
It's another what if,
Right, yeah.
something to consider.
Yeah.
So my comment is, I don't think we need to make a valid or concrete decision tonight. We can do that,
As far as so there's two decisions though, right? One is 70 going to get a refurb look. And the other is a new truck. They're two different decisions that are basically independent of each other, because one is supposing we're gonna keep 70. And even if it's short term or whatever, it's still gonna need those upgrades, those refurbs. The other one is the financing of the truck that we've been working on for the last couple of years. So I mean, those are two different decisions that could be concurrent, or they could, but I don't think you can just say we're not gonna do anything. And just to make a comment on the Shays thing, they've got a fleet of vehicles. I mean, it's not a vehicle, and I agree with my brother, as I sat contemplating the conversation going on here. It goes along the lines of the misleading comments to the people that are listening in going, well, Well, if Shays has got a 17-year-old vehicle, we could have a 17-year-old vehicle. Shays has got 4 or 5 or 6 engines, I don't know which, I just shot him an email to ask. I'm like, how are you doing that? It's probably, I included you guys so you can see the response. We don't have 24 vehicles, we have 6. And 3 of them are, 2 are pickups and 1's an ATV. So, again, it goes back to comparing the apples to apples and oranges to oranges. I agree with you. Hey, it's cool that money's coming down the way, but until the money's in the pocket, I don't believe it's there.
I had mentioned, I think it'd be wise to have Spencer look
Oh, sure.
and get an estimate on the rehab thing.
But just in much the same way that that all of us are irritated, or not maybe irritated, but concerned that we keep pushing ordinances down the road for decisions. This is something that I've been talking about for 2 years. Nearly at the same time I started, I said, we're gonna have a problem. We're gonna have a problem, we're gonna have a problem, we're gonna have a problem. Problem's here. And, I mean, is there a solution? Sure. Is it a good one? That's not necessarily for me to say. I'm just saying, if it was my billywhack, it would be my solution. So I'm just trying to set up the guys and gals that I care about, the best possible outcome as I depart into the sunset. So I would like to hear yes or no on 73rd tonight, whether going over and getting a look and getting that one done. And then, I mean, I think you can take action even on, if we're gonna do the finance option. I think that's something that can happen too. And then the next units down the way, because there will have to be a next, can go on some of these other things. And you could, some creative funding, as you said. I mean, there's options, that you're totally right, there's options, and I love my brother's saying, he's got a great saying, he said, buy once, cry once. I like that saying, I'm frustrated because he uses that at me a lot, but in this instance, I agree with it. Because fire trucks, fire apparatus are not inexpensive equipment. And do you wanna get the right one, or do you wanna get something that, crap, 3 years from now, because of the refurb, we have to go back and fix it again, right?
If you look at your history, before probably any individual on this board. You look at the choices that were made on purchasing, number one, they're all over.
Yeah,
They don't make any sense, and believe it or not, I hang more with Mary's philosophy, I like to save money. Big time. But going like this, you're not going to save money everywhere. And so you bought the Yugo fire engines.
we're suffering for it.
If we know what the Yugars are, right? That's your Ferrari, because you're trying to save a nickel. Instead of sticking with a Michigan-made product, which is a Spartan chassis. And then with an apparatus body made right here in South Dakota. It's a no-brainer. I mean, the quality, and you've spent more money on this. When you built this station, the station should have been built with the future in mind, not the now, because the now immediately turns into yesterday. I'm truly, I offer my knowledge every time I'm here, and nobody ever takes me up on it. I've spec'd out literally over 100 rigs. Ken, you had to have noticed that when we were there, I'm like, blah, 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 all the way through it.
I couldn't keep up with you.
Yeah, the salesman couldn't keep up with me. And I'm here I like the funding, but you can't just walk up and say, I need an engine. Because that gap is over 1.5 years now, unless that engine already exists. So what are you gonna do for that next year? So,
Cause the unit that's sitting there now won't be there in May when this possible funding.
they just posted on Facebook.
It won't be there by the end of, where are we at, it won't be there by the end of the month, right? 2 more weeks it'll be gone. They've had it out there for a couple of months already.
Well, John said he needs to know tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well,
That's fair.
Well, cause he wants to put it out there, get rid of it.
Well,
'cause
I
you know he
think
can't.
I think he's already got another buyer.
Cause you know we can.
He's trying to help us out. Yeah, let me see if I understand this. you're saying 2770 is a junk,
It was junk when you bought it.
and it's not worth even doing the overhaul.
If you were to ask me, I would say no, but right now you're kind of in a pickle, right? So you have to.
But
do
you
some-
shouldn't be throwing good money on something that's
Well,
bad money, right?
Again, if you were to ask me about those pickup trucks, I'd say stay away from them. Because you're throwing money at something that we can only use for one little thing.
Yeah.
Why would I buy something that I can only use for one little
Yeah.
thing? When I could go out and buy a $40,000 pickup truck, it's a quad cab. And buy one Scrivener's.
Well, see, you got us to the point now, we have to ask the question, do we even go for an overhaul on 2770? And
Well,
if we don't go for an overhaul,
So that was a question that needed to be asked 15 years ago. It was the wrong vehicle then. At this point, there's nothing we can do for it.
if I were you, I would go with a mini pumper because it not only serves your community a lot better, because it's a four-wheel drive Karen. It's an F-550 chassis with a four-wheel drive, so it'll handle everything that you want to throw at it. And it'll get down those fire lanes. Where, you know, you're tearing up your rigs going down those fire lanes. With those big fire engines. And if when you get back there, you gotta trust somebody that's gone through 2 hours of driver's training to back it up. So,
I agree with the mini pumper.
Oh,
That's,
yeah.
that's a no-brainer,
right, so
as far as I'm concerned.
So you get that, and then you decide, okay. 22 is too old, 70 is, can we keep it running until we get a replacement schedule? Just a nice replacement schedule saying every 10 years, we're gonna aim to replace. One big piece of apparatus every 5 years, the small ones, that way they have a little resale value.
Okay.
Right now, you have no resale value with your apparatus,
I agree with what you're saying. That decision does not have to be made tonight.
that's up to you.
It's the decision, the
well,
decision.
on the mini, we need to say yes or no, so I can let John know tomorrow. We're not gonna buy the mini, then it's be no answer.
Where's the money?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. How are we gonna pay for it? I don't think anybody's arguing any of the points that are being made tonight or have been made ad nauseum for months and years. Nobody's arguing that our equipment's old. Nobody's arguing that our equipment sucks. Nobody's arguing that we need it. But we can never quite answer the question, how are we going to pay for it? Because $550,000 doesn't exist anywhere right now. If we could wipe out the fire fund, bring it down to zero, I don't think anybody thinks that's a good idea. We take a bunch of money out of the general fund, which there's varying opinions on whether that's smart or legal or prudent. I mean, so we just don't have $550,000.
I like Gary's idea.
Like that.
Pardon?
That's a good idea.
It's legal to use general funds. I've already checked with that. To use, okay? The problem is when the figures were done, you draw down part of the fire fund, you draw down some money out of the general fund. Then next year, there's not enough in the fire fund to cover it. So we go back to the general fund and you do that 2 years in a row, we're bankrupt,
Right.
plain and simple. We're bankrupt.
So we went to.
So if you're worried about not having a fire department, you don't have to worry about it because we won't have any money to fund it.
The whole point of going to Spencer was,
So-
I thought, in order to sort out whether financing was logical, was possible.
Well,
That way we could take away getting tagged up for $350,000 to $550,000 we don't have. So that was, I mean, the $100,000, every chief in the area that has something relatively new told me that, yes, they finance it. That's how they get vehicles. That's just what you do. You don't just,
financing is a possibility within a certain region. Okay, now, I mean, what I'm talking about is our money that we have,
100%.
okay? And that's not touching
Yeah.
the savings, okay?
Okay.
So. But I'm not going there yet,
Okay.
all right?
You're just the treasurer.
That's right. I'm not the treasurer, but I have some ideas. And I'm not a money guru,
No,
but
I was just
I've had tons of money.
we went for the main goal of financing because we can't afford to just throw $550,000 into the wind. That was the
So
whole reason we
anyway-
went to Spencer,
Yeah,
so.
the money's just not there.
The Kate did all the work on
Yeah.
that, on the other stuff, so that anybody, for the grants,
Absolutely.
I mean.
So you can,
You're absolutely right. There's nothing that we can see right there, we're giving you all the information, for you guys to make the decision.
Yeah,
I think
it just, and I know this has been a long journey, but it's never a good position to be in. Make a decision right now. Especially when we don't have a clear solution for where the money's coming from. So I think that, did they generate any sort of financing proposal that we can look at what the annual payments are? Or I know I saw one months and months and months ago, but I think that was a different truck.
John, to my knowledge, John hasn't done one, Spencer hasn't done one.
I did one based on, that and I sent it to everybody.
this sheet right here has three different options on it. It's a finance schedule from Community Leasing Partners. And this was a year ago. Okay,
Okay, I think we did see that one a year ago, right?
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Is it the
was given to
same, the
everybody.
same basic idea?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, same
Do we know
basic thing.
what current rates would be for that?
What?
What current lending rates would be for that?
5.78.
So that was a year ago. I don't know if they're.
That was, well, hopefully rates are coming down, but yeah. That was on a 5-year plan, a 7-year plan and a 10-year plan. And if. Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb here a little bit. If we put a down payment of $100,000 down and finance the balance, which is roughly 450,000. Okay. You're looking at an annual cost payment. In a 7-year plan of right around $64,000.
Is that right, Ken? You did a table. Oh,
Is that
I might have just
financing
done-
from the seller of the vehicle?
no,
No.
We just, when we get to that point, we just need to review it, right? Because financing, there's certain rules when it's the public entity.
Yeah. Now, based on those figures and the money that we have earning interest. On an annual basis for interest earned, we could use the interest and have a little left to pay that annual premium without touching the principal. So what I'm saying is that pot would still grow and you could still make the payments.
if Ken's table is correct, the down payment would have to be around 200,000.
Well, okay,
Right?
Yeah, I mean, that got us where we needed 46,000 a year.
I agree. Yeah, the one, I'd say yes.
The
Right
payment
now,
comes
yeah.
up to like 19,
If I'm looking at your table correctly. Annual costs would be like 70 grand.
What was your?
Even if you put in 200,000 for a down payment. I don't know what interest rate it would be.
it's 4% interest rate. I did a 4%, 5%, 6%.
Yeah, but we don't know which one.
The total yearly cost would be 66,000, so you divide that by
Up to
12.
69.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
for 6%.
Right.
We probably can get a government loan for
Just the same.
that they're less than the going out market. That's why I gave all three of these. But that's $5,524 per month. For the 200,000 down.
Follow what Gary is doing, that was perfect.
Yeah, but right now, we don't even know where we would get that. The 5,000 a month,
so
because.
It-
that comes
it
down
seems-
to
it seems like however we figure this out in a creative fashion, it is going to, at least in my thinking, it's gonna require that we rely on some unknowns. You mentioned Michigan grants that are available. I know we've talked about possible additional tax dollars from a potential battery storage project. I think it's worth saying that because I feel like this is good news. The last time we discussed this, we weren't sure if FEMA grants were available, and I did research that, and it said that Congress passed the Fire Grants and Safety Act, which reauthorized these programs and extended their availability until September 30th of 2030, ensuring continued funding through fiscal year 2028. And the 2026 federal budget is expected to allocate $324 million each for the AFG and SAFER programs, which is a lot of money. It's a difficult application process. We've looked into that before through some projects we worked on with my employer. So I'm just saying that we're probably gonna have to go out on a limb a little bit and hope that something else pans out, because we don't have 550,000 sitting in the bank somewhere, so,
I agree with that.
And so-
I'm saying for right now.
yeah.
We get an estimate on the quick fix. To kind of hold us over. Until we can figure out. Where this money's gonna come from.
So, well,
Does it cost us anything to get the estimate?
that I couldn't tell you, but I would imagine that there'd have to be some kind of cost to it. Cause they're gonna have their engineers looking at it. I mean, so.
Because if it's a minimal cost, I'm all in favor of that. I don't know that I'm in favor of dumping 60 or 80,000 into a machine that everybody agrees sucks. I mean, that seems like potentially a bad move, because that's a year's worth or more of payments. for a new
That's
machine.
gonna fix it. That was
Well,
what I brought,
right.
you guys.
If they give the estimate though, wouldn't they give you some idea of how effective they think the fix?
No, they'll be able to tell us what's gonna go on with it, and that's the purpose of them going through it, so.
Well, I also think we ought to probably think about not doing the pump overhaul, just go ahead and try to fix the,
I think you guys are on the right track, and I'm willing to sit down with you about AFG grants, because I do know quite a bit about those.
Yes.
But I think Gary is keeping this focused here by saying, hey. That there's an opportunity to finance, which the last 10 engines I spec'd, we all financed all of those. So it's a very common practice. The mini pumper would be a stopgap. That's actually. A good addition.
The solution.
That's a good one. You know, that's a good one that you can finance. And it's available. And it takes care of a lot of the immediate problems. And it's something that Mrs. Robertson can drive if the primary medical goes in.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Now we're starting to think smarter. And
That's great.
and you're gonna end up, I know it looks grim, but you're gonna end up saving money in the long run if we start going down and stay focused. On where we're at, you're gonna end up saving quite a bit.
See, for the life of me, I don't understand on this Ferrara.
Ferrara,
All right, if it wasn't right. 2 months after they got it, why didn't you?
well, it's just like what you folks are working on right now. When you leave your post, you're gonna leave it better than you found it. JC is leaving his post better than he found it, John's gonna do the same. So we're gonna work smarter, and we're gonna make sure that we build a fire department that transcends us.
Yeah.
In a smart way. And let me make this very clear, your equipment is wonderful. You have a lot of wonderful equipment. It just doesn't make any sense.
It's haphazard.
Yeah.
Right, it's all over the place.
Ooh, I like this, ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Well,
And
You
then,
took a kid to Toys R Us.
and to your question on 70, things got taken off, didn't get added to it, then it got totaled.
it did, well, it did get told, but it did get very badly.
Very badly damaged, so at some point, someone made a decision, well, this is just. what
Yeah,
we're gonna keep.
okay, that water's gone. All right,
It is.
so
Exactly.
If we can,
let's
Nobody can
work
answer for it.
smarter.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what we can do for the past.
Now, based on that. And you got a kid sitting in unit or in station 1, that can go on the back of that truck that we already have. Okay? So why would we even think about bidding on South Haven's rates?
I was throwing anything out there, hoping that we could get something cobbled together long enough. to figure out some situations.
Okay,
I'm happy to not do anything with those if we're going to be not long-term, very short-term.
Yeah.
I mean, like, no more than a couple of months thinking about moving forward with this. Otherwise, we have to have something to replace 62. It's literally, yeah, I invite you to come and put your hands on the dashboard. I'm not joking when I say it turns to powder. You can't touch the dashboard.
okay,
That's why.
It was a cost effective reach because it already has its siren, it already has its tank, it already has its lights, I mean,
It's set to go,
one of
but
those deals, so, but it was not.
it's like the.
okay, so.
Yeah.
I think we should just have them look at and give us a cost estimate and see, just see, we don't have to have them, just. Have them give us a
I'll
cost estimate.
I'll get 70
But,
over
but,
Spencer.
but there's no sense, and I agree with, there's no sense throwing 60 or 80 grand. If it's that much into something that's not gonna work anyway,
But they'll
that's,
tell you that, right?
That's
They
the
know
point.
it.
well, they would be able to tell you that. That's what they do.
There isn't a world where if you did put 80 grand into that truck, that it could be a second out truck.
I mean, that's what I thought we were doing.
Yeah,
It could be,
That's what I thought.
that was the point.
That's what I thought we
I
were
mean, it
doing.
really was the point.
yeah,
It's just, it's
yeah,
Because 22, as much as we love her, she's over 30. man.
30 is 30.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so are we done with this now, or what?
Well, I think we have to give really detailed direction of where we're heading. And what I'm hearing with 2770, we're gonna keep that in operation, right?
Yep,
That's gonna be our first out truck, right? Until
It is right now.
2770 is gonna say our first out truck,
Yes.
okay?
For now.
We don't have another one.
Yeah.
I mean, really, we have 22, but I can't be either.
So we're gonna continue with that being out. We're gonna wait till the MTA financing comes through, right?
not necessarily.
Okay, what are we considering? We could have 1, 2, 3 if you want. What would be financing? Are you looking,
Finance.
we're looking at financing?
Yep,
I'd like to roll this into our continued budget discussions. You know, you wanna finish the budget, we need to do that.
right,
I think in some regard, it's sort of crazy to make a huge financial decision like that without having finished next year's budget. So I think the sooner we could get together and get a budget meeting on the books. And then we can talk specifically about where the funds come from to put a down payment on
and
a
how is it gonna be
machine.
spent?
And can we reasonably come up with the annual payments to that somewhere over the next 5 years? Can we do that by tomorrow before the truck gets sold? I don't think so, but
It'll go to tomorrow.
well, I thought we were saying we had to make this decision tonight or
I thought it
the
was
truck
gonna be
goes
like a
away.
week, but yeah.
I didn't
post
post it on
Facebook.
I just did the.
Now, that's a demo,
I'm just
right?
surprised.
That's why there was a.
It was their
Yeah.
film on it. Yep.
They
It
built
already
it
got
for the
stuff on it.
purpose of showing up. with-
Cause I mean, we could call a vote right now and say, let's buy a new truck, but I don't think any of us know where the money's coming from specifically. I'm in favor of heavily trying to figure that out, but I think it's gonna require a budget meeting or something, or. Right?
Well, the other thing is, as Jeremy just said, they've got trucks sitting there. Not totally completed, but they're there. So
What do you mean?
to build one, they have chassis and that, well, they build them there. But anyway,
If you were gonna spec out your own truck and you didn't know this one existed, is this the exact truck that you would expect?
And it's the exact same.
Yeah, we changed the things on it that we were,
I just went like
Yes.
this, said yes.
yeah.
Well, that makes the difference too. I
Yeah.
thought, well, you just wanna buy one because it's there.
No, it's the identical spec that I've been pushing. Well, we've been for the last 3 years anyway.
And the one that came up last was actually the same thing and it was cheaper.
It was, but it was made by, yeah, but it was,
It wasn't a Spartan, but it was Spartan had it, or these guys had it.
yeah, it was close to that spec, yeah.
But that one was without a warranty, I think, wasn't it? Or we think about?
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
cause I had already been in the mix.
yep. This is the best conversation you guys had on this.
Yes.
So,
For sure, they should get an estimate, right?
right,
Reason not to do that?
That's, yeah.
I don't see a reason not to do
It's
that.
already, we're. Yeah,
so what you guys, I think you should do. I'm only one vote here, but I think you should get your specs together on what you need.
it's already done.
He's already got that.
Twice,
Yeah.
we've done it twice, not once, but twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna throw something out here and I'm not implying anything. But when we're talking with South Haven,
Spencer or something?
Yeah, Spencer. Anyway. He was talking about having this option with a pad,
Oh,
iPad, where he could run a truck and do everything he wants to from that corner, sitting right here.
That's very
And
technology.
he said,
Yeah.
and he
That's very
said,
technology.
that's an $80,000 option. He says, you know what? That's another $80,000 option that can go wrong. He says, I wouldn't do that in a minute.
Right. Well,
So what I'm saying is, spec what you need,
right.
not what you want.
Can I say something about spec? I've been specking rigs for
Okay.
Dave and Chiefs. Every time we spec an engine, it costs money. Not us, it costs the dealer money, it costs the manufacturer money.
mhm.
There's only so many of those that they're gonna spec for us for free.
Okay.
So, I'm just throwing that out there. I pulled all my strikes, I pulled all my markers, I taken 10 different favors from my contacts. And that well is
We've
strike.
got two specs, there's no reason to do it anymore.
Right, and we know what we want, and we not once did we say we wanted like that, but we
None of
know.
them are self-driving,
Right.
we're not looking for anything crazy.
There's no.
Yeah, literally, there's no remote controls, there's
What
nothing.
kind of relationship do we have with John Hanson? Could we say, we're trying to figure this out candidly, but we need a couple weeks? Can we even put earnest money down and say, hold this truck for us for 2 weeks and pending
So how about
budget,
this?
budget?
How about we ask, what's your turnaround time on another?
That's a
Yeah,
great
because
question.
he said they get demos in there all the time.
Right,
And they
so
run them around.
that's probably a good question too. This is our spec. What's your turnaround time for something like this? And then if it's, hey, we can have it made for you in 5 months, well, that's not horrible,
Right,
you know? And it gets, but remember what I said last time to you folks, it gets you folks on the same page first. And then we can rock it out. We're your pit bulls, we're on the leash. You guys decide what you want and let us off that leash, okay? But it doesn't work unless it works like that. Because you gotta know what you want before we can.
Yeah.
Rock it out.
so a 5-month window would work for you.
That's hyperbole.
I know,
Right.
but if they said, yeah, we can make one in 6 months or something, which would be April at this point.
It
That
still
would be
makes
the
your
beginning
deadline.
of the next budget.
It makes
year,
your, it
too.
makes your
Right.
deadline because the truck doesn't expire until September.
Brandon said, and correct me if I'm wrong. Brandon said to order a new engine. An engine,
Right.
you're looking at 4 years down the road at about $1 million.
Depending on who you use as your
Well,
vendor.
that's what he said.
Right. He sticks with his vendors, right? So depending on your 2 to 4 years and $1 million to 1.3.
The other
Yeah.
thing is that he mentioned, and it's sort of like a monopoly,
Yes,
that there is a company
out of Florida. Union Group.
that handles a multitude of builders,
Yes,
okay?
Yeah.
So they kind of set what the costs are gonna be,
I'm
and the other
aware.
people have to go with those costs.
that's a true statement. I'm
So
aware of all that.
it's too bad there aren't more people building fire trucks, because it would be wouldn't be a monopoly, because technically that's what it is. Anyway. Okay, so where are we at on this?
2770 is gonna go get estimate.
We're gonna.
yeah, you also wanna 6 months from now, we're gonna stay with 2770 as our first out. Is that what I heard? Can you do that?
I was just throwing a date at the wall, man.
That's an
Like I said,
option.
I
I think we need to meet as soon as possible and finish the budget and talk about how we're gonna pay
That's
for
right,
this thing.
that's right, that's right,
I mean, that's 6 months, like,
that's right.
Give yourself some educated, education on it.
Right.
And then, be happy about your purchase, that way you can celebrate it. And not lament it.
We just wanna make sure where the money's coming from, that's affordable. To make sure you guys and the firefighters are well taken care of and safety. And we wanna make sure our taxpayers are taken care of. And have the best equipment that's possibly available to them to take care of their situation.
Awesome. We're right there with you. We're on common ground.
Well, and I think for that budget meeting, we need the financing stuff, and you mentioned,
Yeah, I mean, there's a few different ways that you can finance it, and we sent an email over, right? You can do like kind of like a lease to own, but that's financing directly to the seller. You can do an installment purchase agreement under Act 99, or you can do bonds. So it's not quite as like, you can't go out and just get a random loan and put a lien on the collateral like you would as a private citizen. And I know you guys know that, but just kind of a
yeah,
reminder that as we get to that point, please involve us so we can guide on that.
yeah, and then we need like, about the turnaround time for a new build and an estimate for the demo truck, like of the financing terms for that.
We go out for a loan, how are we gonna get revenue to pay for the loan?
Right, we'll look at that when it comes budget time. That's why what Jason said about finding out what our budget actually is and what money's there.
In your agenda package, you have that right now.
Okay, but we don't need to make it.
No, I'm just telling you, when you go home tonight, you gotta,
I already
budget.
looked at the budget.
Okay.
There's a couple of changes I can see that we need to make, but that's okay.
that is okay, I sent it out there because board action still needs to be made on it, and I don't think everyone got their input, what they wanted to change. And I'm okay with that. I've done my part.
Is there anywhere you guys can see that you can cut back on any expenditures to help toward this? To have payment money?
In the last several years, I've been trying to repair things that have been waiting.
Yeah.
And waiting. The answer is no, there's no place to drop
Nothing
that.
left to cut.
At this
There's
point, just
not one spot you can get rid of.
cost cutting is not gonna help us.
There's not enough cost cutting there. A couple $100 is not.
that's too big of a nut.
It is.
That's why things are starting to cost more, because everything's been cut. And going around the cheap way. Instead of the smart way.
The Band-Aid approach has been done for the last 20 years.
When do you wanna schedule a budget meeting? Jason, I think your schedule
Is that,
probably is
is that later in the agenda or do you wanna do that now? I'm fine doing it now, but did I see that in the agenda somewhere?
It is.
Oh, we do talk about the budget in the agenda, we can schedule the date then,
By 6?
that's a little bit later.
Okay. Let's stick to the agenda.
I don't think we need any motions, I think, well, we have his actions here that we gotta take. We talked about 2770, 2722 is gonna remain this second, out truck, right? For the time being,
Until such time as. Yep.
and basically the 2765 is, the mini's gonna take care of that issue, right?
Say again,
The 2725, if we get the mini, then we don't need the grass fire unit.
exactly.
So bidding on, South Haven's equipment is,
If we wanna pass on it, we can. I'm just saying,
There's no, in my opinion, you got a skid sitting down at Station One right now that came off the old grass rig.
760.
That's there. You take the 250 that you got now, that's running. You put that skid on that and you're set for a grass rig. Am I right?
You are correct,
Just need the mini pump.
but that means that we need the mini pump.
Well, no, I'm saying.
Right, yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
That Saturday meeting that we had,
right,
I
right.
had like.
Place one over and take away the other.
Right.
And then besides that, you've got the Kawasaki that you used the other day to go down the fire lane
Absolutely.
when the cops were there and the fire was there.
62 did wind up going down there eventually.
Yeah, I know.
so we're saying 2765 is mini dependent. Whether what, we need to do something with that, and we're gonna take and wait till we can figure out with the budget, whether that's something we have to do. So we will not be bidding on any South Haven equipment.
Okay,
You guys agree with that?
Yeah,
I don't even know, I don't have an equipment list of something, I don't know I don't even know what you're talking
Pick up
about.
all sorts of numbers, right?
Well,
There's a nice picture of what we're bidding on in the agenda package.
where?
It's at the
Down towards the
bottom,
bottom.
16.
Yeah, Jason.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it into a pumpkin, folks.
Your advice.
Oh, okay, yes, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Okay, let me see where we're at, so we can get moving on here.
okay, you're talking about.
Those are just
Pump
trucks,
tank.
like Silverados.
Is
Do we
that
need
the engine?
that?
Is that a
They're
large,
already
big
set up
engine?
as garage
Protection?
No.
radios, lights, all this stuff, yes.
They were one of the-
Why you call it a?
Those are Silverado pickup trucks.
What
Oh,
are
yeah.
you talking about?
I'm talking about this one for
Nothing
five
extra,
hundred
what did
thousand.
you put on them? They've already got the
All you
tank.
do
That
is
is
letters.
Yeah, the letters,
That's it.
yeah.
The mini
And
pump?
The
then-
mini pumper does.
I mean, I'm just
1,500
saying,
gallons per minute.
I don't know if that
Carries-
should be off the
Okay.
table if we need
Well,
that,
if you're
that's
not
worth
gonna-
considering.
500 gallon tank, a mini
Yeah.
tank.
Yeah,
Well, then, like, I
Is
said,
it
don't take
qualified
away
as a
one
pump
without
tank?
getting it, you know,
Okay,
I would
Mini.
still consider that if you are not considering the finance.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna turn into a pumpkin, folks.
I think that option only has 2 or 3 more
Gonna
days
miss the ball.
left, so.
yeah,
Tomorrow. See you tomorrow, Brad.
thanks, Jeremy.
Have a good night.
thank you, Jeremy.
Anytime.
Then we're gonna send, 2770 out for, an estimate for, bumper overhaul and, new electrical harness and a control panel. Then we'll get separate bids on each one of those. Okay? You got all that?
It's great.
And I don't think we need to vote on it. I think we got our direction and everyone agree with that? 2722 is, we already talked about second out truck. So that takes us through H5 unfinished business, short-term rounds. We, have recently looked at a, moratorium that would provide us time to make better decisions on what we're doing. And that decision could be, how to incorporate them, how to end them, how to, manage them.
We're on L1.
Yes,
Okay.
I won.
and we should make a decision, if we want to do this moratorium. I would recommend that we do it. Basically, that would put a halt on anything that tries to come into the township. And it will buy us some time to, determine how we are gonna go forward with a little breathing room. And that will help us with that.
I read through the resolution and I read through exhibit A and B. And I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea.
Reason I say that. based on Attorney Clifford Bloom, as well as Laura.
Thank you.
There's a big problem. Well, the caption here is, do short-term rentals and lakes really mix? And based on all the information that was given in here from Attorney Bloom, who is a Michigan Lakes and Streams attorney, and writes a lot of, I've got both of his books that he wrote about myths and nuts and bolts about anything that has to do with lakes. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 20 different, 20 different court
Court cases?
court cases, thanks. Sometimes I get my teeth wrapped around my eye teeth and I can't see what I'm saying. Anyway, that he says, basically, a lot of these are not unpublished, so you wouldn't know about them from the Supreme Court. That creates a lot of underlying issues that people don't even think about when they have their short-term rentals. And a lot of it has to do with pollution of water, septic tank frequency, chemicals that are used more than normal because you have to clean more times. The people that pump the tanks out and stuff, they're running into issues where where they dump these, they won't take them because of the increased chemicals. And so it's a bigger issue than what we could even try to think about unless you read the article. So good information in there. So I think we need to have a resolution for a moratorium so we can really get our ducks in a row and figure out exactly what is best for the community. That's my thought.
Jason?
I mean, are we in discussion? There isn't really a motion on the table. Are we just,
No,
everybody's giving their opinion right now, or?
We're just trying to walk ourselves through this
Yeah.
to make sure that we do the right thing.
Yep, well. I mean, I wanna be clear that the moratorium is a 6-month moratorium, correct? If I remember that right?
correct.
And I guess I am finding myself asking the question, what changed since a few months ago when this same issue came up and we decided not to put a moratorium? We did a notice because if memory serves correctly, the way the moratorium's written, it's just saying we're not gonna issue any permits and licenses and approvals for property, which we don't do anyways. So unless the moratorium language has changed, it seems like we're still at the same spot we were a couple months ago when we didn't think this was appropriate. I'm just wondering what changed.
I think,
I say the language has not changed.
Okay,
what?
I said the language has not changed. This is what you considered several months ago. I think it's a matter, and I don't want to speak for why it's being brought up now, but I'll let you guys talk about that. I think I'll say the same thing I said when it came up a few months ago. We did have something come through that was short-term rental-esque, right, with the glamping, little temporary uses. If you do have yes, the PUD.
Okay.
If you do have an investor or somebody who's coming in specifically for the purpose of short-term rentals and they see this ordinance, it makes it very clear what the township's position is at this time.
And based on what you just said, there's a possibility that might be in the process from one particular area that I know of.
Say that again?
There may be somebody new coming in that wants to do this.
There could be, I have.
Yeah,
Well, they're already clearing land.
Right.
that's a true thing. There is somebody trying to come in. There's not
So-
more than one. Gar, anything before we make a motion here? Could I get a motion to approve the moratorium on short rentals?
And just to clarify that motion, it's the motion to approve the resolution to adopt an ordinance to propose moratorium.
Did you get that, Car?
No.
That was my motion. Thank you.
Aye.
You
So we
sleeping?
can't do we shouldn't do a moratorium just by motion. We are adopting the ordinance for a moratorium, or we are considering.
Well, there's three ordinances there. Which one I pick? A, B, or
There's one.
No, there's
resolution,
one
an
ordinance.
And a notice.
resolution to adopt an ordinance to impose a moratorium on the issuance of permits, licenses, or approval for short-term rentals. That's the
And the
motion.
other two are just exhibits. So you made that motion.
I just made that motion. Can I get a second?
Let me know when, Carol, when you're ready.
Do you see the, you got the title? That's right there.
Okay. Have to type all that, I'll just copy and paste it. Stand by. You can second it.
I'll second.
Okay. We can keep it moving.
Since there's a second on the floor, we can do a little more discussion, correct?
Sure.
Laura, is this moratorium extendable?
You get a
Yes.
second?
Okay.
And let me add, it can be extended by resolution, so it doesn't have to be another ordinance. It provides for that. Or
Okay. I guess I would like to say before voting on this, a couple comments. I did listen to the planning commission meeting last week and I thought there was a lot of great information, a lot of great discussion. I know this is a very important topic and in full disclosure, I live on a lake and I have a short-term rental that is adjacent to my property. And so I have experienced all the things that have been mentioned as in terms of nuisances and all that with short-term rentals. And so in large degree, I would have every reason to be 100% in favor of short-term rentals going away 100% because I've experienced the things that have been complained. I just want to say that I hope that we're adopting this moratorium in the true spirit of what is written, in that we're going to dig into this issue and try to fully understand all aspects of it. And it's not just kind of a quick step toward a complete ban, because I think that it is a very complex issue. As I think it was pointed out wisely at the PC meeting, I mean, the planning commission couldn't even come to a consensus on whether to make a recommendation to the board on this. So it was a split decision on the planning commission. So that right there tells you there's two sides to this thing, and there's probably more than two. And so I'm just highly in favor of us taking the appropriate amount of time to make a good decision on this that is truly in the long range benefit of our township, and not just a quick decision because it's a very emotional issue for a lot of people. And I understand why it's emotional, but I just wanted to say that I do hope that's the intent of the board. If we do pass a moratorium, that we are going to truly dig into this and try to understand what the best recourse is. Because some of the suggestions that were made to the planning commission, I thought, me as somebody who's affected by a short-term rental, those might solve a lot of my issues. So, and I'm not saying I'm in favor of the ban or not. I'm just saying I'm in favor of letting a good process play out. So that's my comment.
And I agree with what you're saying, and that's why I think we should do this for a 6-month period, because if you don't have a starting point, you never get started.
Okay.
I'm done.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I would like to also say that I used to do weekly rental on my cottage, on Saddle Lake. I have since, stopped doing that when I retired. I, no longer file a Schedule E return on my taxes because I'm not engaged in the rental business. And at one time, I thought I had a potential or a appearance of, conflict of interest, but, I am not doing anything for profit, therefore I come to the conclusion that I am able to vote on it. I think that the moratorium, sets us up in a good position in case we don't decide tonight to not continue with a short-term rental ordinance. There has been by the planning commission a lot of communications from a lot of people. We received a petition from residents tonight with about 100 signatures on it against short-term rental. And there is definitely a problem with them, which they're coming in, they're buying lakefront property, they're increasing the property taxes, they're making other people's property taxes go up where it's gonna be unaffordable. But I think the most important thing that's on my mind with them is that our master plan and our zoning ordinance don't allow them. So with that being said, Carla, have you anything to say or ready to vote?
Ready to vote.
Ready to vote? We have a motion, we have a second. I was the first one, so I'm a yes. Gary,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Kara?
Yeah.
Okay, we got the moratorium. I2 is consider what should be done with short-term rental ordinance. The planning commission, that would be on the, I think the 12th that met. They reviewed the video, which was requested by Gary, and reviewed a markup revision of a short-term rental ordinance, and voted to return the markup vision back to the township without recommendation. It did fail on a roll call vote, like Jason said. The vote to return the markup version was without a recommendation was approved. Just for your note, this is a police ordinance, and by law, the Columbia Township is not required to hold a public hearing prior to the adoption of a general police order power ordinance. The ordinance may be introduced and adopted at a single meeting without the need for a public hearing. The question here is, should we even? We've spent a lot of time in the planning commission, we spent a lot of time here at the township board discussing this. And it seems that we cannot move forward on having a conclusion. So I'm gonna make a motion that we not allow short-term rentals in our township and comply with our master plan and zoning ordinance. That's my motion. Can I get a second?
Repeat it. Motion that we do not allow short-term rentals in the township
Yep,
and
comply with
comply.
our master plan and zoning ordinance.
So you need a second for
I need a
discussion.
second to discuss it.
I'll second.
Our second, discussion, Jason?
Isn't that what I just said about the moratorium, that we were gonna engage in a truthful process? And the first thing we did after passing the moratorium is we did a motion to ban them altogether. So, I don't even know what the point of voting on the moratorium was.
We didn't know how you'd vote on, I2.
Oh, okay. I hope everybody sees what just happened.
Well, there's still a vote. I just.
Well, right, I mean, I hope everybody sees what happened with the motion itself. That's all I have to say.
Any comment, Gary?
No, I'm ready to vote.
Sorry, comment?
I agree with Jason. I mean, I don't think it's something we should.
Okay, we're gonna go to vote. Ken's a yes. Cara?
No.
Could you please read back the motion one more time to make sure that it's clear what yes and what no is?
Motion that Columbia Township does not allow STR in the township comply with our master plan and zoning ordinance.
Does not allow. Okay. So Ken's a yes,
A ban, basically.
right? So we are voting for a permanent ban.
Gary?
No,
Jason?
No.
Okay. Someone have a motion about what we should be done with short-term rental ordinance at this point?
Did Kara vote? I didn't hear.
I'm not sure that it needs a motion, but I just think that continuing work on that ordinance should be a piece of the process. Not that it's the ultimate goal of the process, but I think that it should be part of it, so.
So what changes are we gonna ask to be made?
I would have to dig a lot further into the ordinance. I just watched the meeting and I'm still absorbing it, but
I just think the purpose of the moratorium was to give us more time to consider all the options.
Yes.
I understand the ordinance still is what it says, and that's what we're complying with right now with the moratorium. And now we're given extra time to look at all the options.
Okay, what are all the options?
The ordinance,
Okay.
continuing and how we're gonna enforce our current ordinance. Because I mean, our ordinance all day says they're not allowed in residential, but who's saying anything?
well, the other thing is it's a police ordinance, so how are we gonna, who we're gonna hire to enforce that? Where's the funding gonna come to pay the person to do that? How many hours of enforcement is there gonna be established? I think there's a lot of things in there that need to be discussed and further looked into before there's a simple yes or no on the ordinance.
Yeah, but the issue about hiring like police enforcement, or who's gonna enforce that? Is that gonna, if you do hire someone, is that just gonna be just for short-term rental, or is that gonna be for all the ordinance?
well, that's a great question. I mean, that's one of the things that needs to be figured out. I mean, it's really an enforcement issue. As are many of our issues in the township. We have enforcement trouble. So, and I think it was astutely pointed out that there could be legal.
Before you come up with the ordinance. That way you have someone to enforce these ordinances.
Sure.
Well, we're up here trying to discuss this, where we're going.
So I think that what Kara said was a good input, and I think what Jason said was good input as well. My comment, you can take it or leave it, but you still gotta have those questions answered and come to some kind of resolution and conclusion of how you're gonna handle that. And I don't think we're not there yet. The resolution states what it says, but how are you going to do what it states?
Yeah.
So I think there needs to be a little bit more input and maybe even some more additional information.
Again, I don't know if this is a matter that requires a vote, but I would be in favor of having the planning commission continue to work on this issue. I think a lot of the potential problems, pitfalls, questions, were unboxed at the last planning commission meeting, but really nothing was done with them. And I think they sort of had trouble figuring out what do we do next, because this probably has to go back to the township board. But whether it's a joint session working together on this, or maybe that's the best plan, is because you guys have done the work and your kind of jurisdiction is the ordinances, and we could work together to figure out really what are all the considerations that need to be taken before we make a final decision on this. I just think I've seen our township rush into decisions because of high emotions, and it doesn't always work out well.
Hasty decisions are never good.
You know, so.
And my
Memo is also legally considered commercial license. And they're going into residential areas, which. That's your.
I think one of the things that need to be considered, if you are going to not have short-term rentals, then based on or nothing, as a good neighbor policy, so to speak, then if you're gonna do away with short-term rentals, I personally think it would be in our best interest, as well as the people that own these properties, to put a sunset clause in there, so that after 2 years or 3 years, because some of them are already booked for next year. So I hate to penalize those people that have rented things, because it's none of their affair. Yeah.
That'll be taken care of by the moratorium, when we take care of the moratorium to back out of the system. Here's what the township needs to do for the planning commission. They need to take a look at the administrative services, registering, receiving complaints, and tracking violations. How are we gonna do that? How are we gonna fund that? Inspections, appoint a number of bodies to inspect the building, electrical, fire, sewer, handicap, access and egress. Enforcement, employ somebody to enforce the ST ordinance. Lost revenue, non-resident property owner, not considered in Michigan revenue, so we don't get, state revenue. It's based on population, not, taxes. And the master plan and zoning ordinance will need to expand to include the residential, districts, with the rules for that. And we need to have all that happen and all the money to take care of all that items there. So you're looking at spending some money to get all this stuff done. And if we're gonna go forward with it, you need to understand it's not gonna be just holding a public hearing, and then we'll be right back to you about where's the money coming from, who's gonna do it, and are you really up to taking on more enforcement? And if you're not gonna take more enforcement, we should not be going forward to this, and if we haven't got the money to do it, we should not be going forward with it.
Need a fire truck.
And there's some key things here that, when you increase SDR activities, SDRs are notably gonna, increase across all municipalities. They've said that in the video, that when you let one in, they're just gonna keep increasing, and then it's basically gonna take over your township. The rental, market impact, rental rates are rising currently with the increase of short-term rentals. So what rentals you have, they're going outside that and getting rental property, and they're raising, outside that land. Environmental strain, the increase of overuse of our inland lakes due to this activity. Proper affordability, SDRs are driving property values up, making them unaffordable for the average resident. Infrastructure dissipates, the township currently lacks the necessary infrastructure, including utilities, electric, water, sewer, and affordable housing to support further growth in transient occupancy. Emergency services strain, we lack sufficient emergency services, including police, fire, medical, first responders, and ambulance services. We also have seen a significant increase in emergency calls over the past 5 years. We usually only have like 100 calls a year, and we're up to 450. 450. So you wonder why his budget is not being maintained. He's got 4 times the amount of calls that he had. Add this, you're gonna have more calls.
It sounds like you're making a case for a ban, which we just voted down. I mean, are we doing that right now? I don't understand what we're doing at this moment.
I am saying that had you read what was in your package, you would know all these.
I not only read what was in the package, Ken, I listened to the entire planning commission meeting
Right.
that you abstained from voting, but then
Yeah.
wrote you wrote recommendations for it, so. Don't lecture me on how to prepare for the meeting.
Well, if you read this, I wouldn't have to repeat it.
I know all that already. I'm just saying we need to discuss that line by line and figure out what is the best solution, rather than just going. Quick, close the
Okay.
door, ban it all, because you're gonna have equally as many enforcement problems on a ban as you
These-
are enforcement
These
problems. on a
issues
new-
are township board issues, not our planning commission.
Okay, well then,
We need
I
to,
just made a suggestion that we do a joint session with the planning commission. If you don't think that's a good idea, make a different suggestion.
And
We
that's
can have a-
exactly the reason we voted for the moratorium and not to, well, I voted no for the complete ban. We need to get all this information together.
okay,
Well, wouldn't there be repercussions of a ban of the people already operating?
It's not allowed under your ordinance
Okay.
now, so they're not a prior law.
So I mean, it's already not allowed, so
But and I understand
Yeah.
that, but I'm curious, in that same article.
Yeah.
Written, I believe it stated. The majority of townships that are experiencing the same thing. Currently allow them, even though their ordinance don't allow them.
So, and
So
it's
why
like-
is that? Why is it so widespread?
It's an enforcement issue.
Okay,
Right,
Because you've never told them, you've never enforced it against anybody. That doesn't mean it's allowed, but I think the decision really is, do you work through these issues, develop an ordinance that addresses registration, all the things that, planning commission was talking about? Or do you decide we're not going to amend our ordinance to allow it, and we at a certain point are going to start taking enforcement action? Which goes to the sunset provision. So you wouldn't need to amend your ordinance to ban them, and I think that's Ken's motion wasn't worded to amend the ordinance, right? But do that by motion anyway. It's really, are you going to enforce as written, or are you going to expressly allow and regulate them? And that can take a lot of different forms.
yeah.
And even if you have a police power ordinance component of that, which I think you would, you will also still need a zoning ordinance amendment as well. For example, if you're going to say they're allowed in R1 and R2, that's not a police power thing, that's a zoning thing. So you've got to amend the zoning ordinance to go with that. So at some point, the planning commission, this was more advisory on the police power point, but they have to go through that process too, if you're going to amend a zoning ordinance.
can I ask a question to you both? Well, Karen, you three all had public comments about the short-term rentals. Do you ever see a world where if a new ordinance could be drafted that residents approved of, that they felt like that covered their concerns. But it also benefited the township in the form of additional revenue and bringing new people into the township? I mean, is there a scenario in your mind where it could be beneficial for more than one party? Because right now it's a very binary issue. It's either we ban them or we allow them.
Really? So are you thinking about the township or the people of the township? Because I'm thinking about people of the township. Okay, or about the residents.
I'm
How this ordinance, how this, all this gonna benefit people of the township? That's first thing. Second, I have a question for you. So you trying to reward bad behavior, basically illegal operation,
no, I'm not.
and punish the people who obey the law, yes?
I'm not trying to reward bad behavior. I'm trying to,
Let's legalize this, right? That's what's happening.
In other words, by coming up with ordinance for it, you're legalizing it. Cause you're creating an ordinance against the different violations.
And
Well,
what,
then by doing that, you're legalizing short-term rental. You're saying that it's allowed, when it shouldn't be actually. Short-term rental,
then
I'm sorry, short-term rental is a city thing, I apologize, but believe me, I know, I've lived in both. I just moved to Battle Creek 5 to 6 years ago, okay? But I grew up in the country when I was younger, so don't say I'm not a country boy either, but anyway, I know how life is in both parts.
Yeah.
Living in the country is not the same as being in the city where, yeah, you have a lot of rentals. Living out in the countries where people own property, their property. And when you have short-term rentals move in, and those short-term rentals start straying here and there, you're being violated.
Well, I
And it should
understand.
not be allowed. That's like, right now, I'm being violated by people who should not be in my area. Along with a lot of other people. Short-term rentals, I'm sorry, it should be banned.
And instead of building community, you're creating division here. Because more short-term rentals, more people gonna get upset, and what they're gonna do, they're gonna have to police their neighbors.
Yeah.
That's, you know,
Well, there's currently what, we estimate 30 to 32, is that correct, Kate?
Maybe.
But we really have no idea of knowing that, because we've only checked Airbnb and,
We're unable to enforce anything, unable to check on them.
right,
That's
and,
why.
and please keep in mind, I try to state this clearly, like, I'm affected by it as well, so I understand. But when you ask the question, are we doing it for the people or the township? Most of the short-term rentals, I believe, fall into the R2 district, which is lakes and resorts, correct? Is that right, Kate, from the planning commission? And so the 100 people that have signed a petition presumably fall within that singular district. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm guessing there are people who live on the lakes that are saying, we don't want our lakes invaded by short-term rentals, but what about all the other places in the township that might want to do a short-term rental out in the middle of a field somewhere in an ag district? So we're gonna ban that as well. I'm just saying, there's multiple sides to this, and I just think we need to take some time to think through it and follow a good process to make the right
The
decision.
decision's not being made tonight, like,
I think it's
Yes,
right.
have
Right.
temporary problems. Coming into the culture of our area, no. I have temporary problems that are come in, create problems, and then be gone. Then come back again, the next year, do the same thing, and then leave again, and create problems each time.
I'm not sure what you mean by that, I guess.
It's all violating of private property, the noise, traffic.
Yeah,
You can't have Kirby on the weekend,
You can't have-
because they dumped all their garbage in.
Yeah, you can't put a
Kirby.
trash can out the garbage, they
it
dump
on
there
the
and
main
there, all kinds of different things, it's all kinds of problems with it.
to answer your question about the signatures.
People to watch what's going on around here.
And right now, we can't afford to hire anybody, because
Probably no more guys need to fire anything.
if we're thinking about the townships and the citizens, we need a fire.
That's more important than that, than the short-term rental.
I think,
Also, let me-
I think you're misunderstanding my position on this. Yeah, you are. Yes, you are, sir. Respectfully, you are. I'm saying, well, if you guys had your way, we'd ban them right now tonight. And I'm simply saying, there's a lot of other considerations to be thought through. Legal being one of them. And we
have
should,
a ban on it right now.
fair enough.
Yes, we do.
I understand that, but why do we have 32 of them then?
And we
Because
need
it's
some-
stuck in.
There you go.
And you don't think they're gonna keep sneaking in?
I do, and well, you ain't got.
The moratorium's not gonna slow anybody down, and it presumably a ban wouldn't either, so. I'm just saying, it's not as cut and dry as everybody thinks, that's all I'm saying.
I think
That's
that,
my
It's
opinion.
brought to the public side right now, though, because we're in here talking about it in the meeting, so it's being brought to the public side, and notice is being put up. People are gonna start to realize, wait a minute, there's bans.
I think that one of the areas that we can be addressing is that if we are gonna allow short-term rentals, they should be in a commercial district. And not in the residential district.
That I can agree with.
Pardon?
So, yeah, that I can agree with. in the-
Because they are commercial,
Yeah.
that's what they are, they're commercial, so. If you have a commercial district. Or an area like 215 or 388 where they can have these short-term rentals. Then, okay. So just saying to ban them outright for everyone, I don't think is good for the community, for one thing. You may have somebody come in and wanna buy some property and put up a duplex and rent it out short term, cause they can run to South Haven to the beach in 10 minutes or whatever.
Well, with man, they wouldn't be able to put a duplex rent on them. Wow.
So anyway, that's one of the things I think we need to cover and get into and,
So Ken, you're saying this is not a planning commission issue anymore? So does
It's
this
the
need to be?
police ordinance, it's always been the police ordinance that belongs to the township board. We've asked them to do things, they've done it, and, I mean, we can hold a public hearing here if you wanna have a public hearing.
The ordinance is not a police issue.
One they were working on is police power, but you have to have a zoning ordinance amendment to allow it in a district if you're gonna allow it. So there would be, similar to when communities do a marijuana thing, right? There's both police power and there's zoning components to it. What we said when we talked about this before was, when I say we, the board, talked about having the planning commission's input on the police power part, because that was kind of the yes or no lever, right? Are we gonna do this or are we not gonna do this, big picture? But if you're going to allow and regulate them, you have to have a zoning ordinance amendment too.
I'm sorry for interrupting, I just want to answer a question about the signatures. Because you mentioned that most likely they're all under the lake. Actually, no, because the petition has been started after basically people left for the season. All the signatures are far away, so the townships far away from the lakes.
Okay.
Is there any way we could put this on the ballot? Where the residents can vote on it?
You could do a zoning amendment that could be subject to referendum, but you cannot just on your own initiative put the question of this on the ballot, no. You're a general law township, there's not a mechanism to do that. But if you adopt something and a majority of people don't like it, they could petition for a referendum and then put that on the ballot.
Yeah, they did that before.
So that's the only way it gets to the ballot.
Go ahead, Kate.
The only comment I'm gonna make, is that I think at the planning commission meeting, we did a decent job pointing out that no matter what you do, whether you do nothing, whether you do an ordinance, whether you ban, no matter what you do, this is a complex issue. It's tricky. There's nothing easy about it. No one's sitting here saying it's simple. And I think that's partly why there's I understand why there's a interest in a ban, but that would not solve your problems, not even close. Because the ban, in my view, as the township currently operates, you ban STRs, they're gonna keep happening, and you're gonna have the same issue going on that you have on right now. People complaining on each other without an ordinance by which you have rights to take action against someone who's a bad neighbor. So the thing that I've observed as chair is that, that when you good folks show up, which is, we want you there. But if the township has decided no on a ban, and we're gonna take the issue up at a planning commission meeting, then we need to talk about the ordinance. And what has happened for the last two meetings, we really haven't talked about the ordinance in the level of detail that I would like it to happen. Because we get caught up in these debates about whether we're gonna have a ban or not. So we really haven't had a chance to fully develop public comment on this, in my view. Maybe, since you've already decided there's not gonna be a ban, maybe if you do give it back to the planning commission, we can be helpful, maybe, or maybe we do a joint session, but maybe with the ban issue set aside for now at least, we can get people who even are against short-term rentals to at least look at the ordinance and give us some comments on, would this help, would it not? Because we're not getting anywhere right now because of that, and that's been difficult. That's my comment.
that's why I had mentioned before, if you're gonna have, I don't know if you really need to ban them entirely, but if you're gonna have short-term rentals, have them in the district the commercial overlay district area. Have them allowable there. And then the other ones, you can give them a sunset clause for 2 or 3 years down the road. So they're not just cut off. So they can get their rentals that have already booked. give them time to adjust. That. I just think that would be reasonable for everyone. So we need to have the. Do you want to have a joint session between the planning commission and the board to see if we can iron out some more of these things and get some more input from Laura? She's pretty familiar with these things. and has
Yeah,
worked on it.
I already said I'm in favor of that, so.
Okay, okay. I think that'd be a way to move forward. What you suggest?
And we might still end up at that spot. I just think what Kate said is. It speaks to due diligence. We have to go through the process and do our due diligence to turn over every stone.
Down to who's gonna enforce it, or.
We'll see what Kate said.
We agree.
Yeah.
We agree.
That's been the problem.
Either way.
No matter which way you go.
Yeah,
Money
and-
gonna come from.
Yeah, and then you got that problem.
Exactly.
You know, that's already $2,000 per house.
And right now, our biggest problem is our fire safety.
Yeah, I'm worried about ambulance coming to get rid of the ass out of the house.
Yeah, too.
I'm 78 years old. 9/11, I want somebody to show up over there.
If we're gonna have a planning commission township board meeting, can we set a date right now?
Yep.
Will the public be allowed at this meeting?
Oh, yes.
Not till after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't do it in the morning.
If it's a joint meeting, hard, but is that what I'm saying, or is it just one board? Joint, okay, yeah, now I gotta check my calendar.
Do we wanna do it prior to the planning commission meeting? On the 10th?
Works for me.
What time?
We got
December
the
10th.
holiday weekend coming up here and then you got the Christmas,
That's the night after the planning commission meeting. That's kind of back, that's a little tough.
what day did, that's October, November.
We just Saturday. Would that be a better?
Wait, what did you say?
The 10th, if I'm, is.
Wednesday, the 10th.
Wednesday, the
We're
10th.
saying
prior to the planning
before the planning commission meeting, like at 6 PM,
Oh.
like
I guess
back them up to each other.
That, I'd be able to do that, yeah. So the night of the planning.
Wednesday, December 10th. At either 5:30 or 6. I don't, we might need to give ourselves some time on this one, so. I'd say 5:30.
I won't be here.
Huh?
I won't be here.
Where are you gonna be? Camping?
Yep.
None of your business.
None of your business.
Mary's gonna be around, right?
I don't know, I think.
December 10th, you
We-
said?
Yeah, the
December
10th,
10th?
yeah.
Throwing it out there,
Is
December
that
10th.
good?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, for the board members, please, you're not gonna be here. Please send me what you'd like to see on the agenda by line item for that
For
meeting,
that special.
so that we have, a thing, and then I'll work with Kate to mesh our, planning commission with the township board. So the sooner you get it to us, the sooner Kate and I can get it back to you guys, so you
December,
can look at it.
December 10th at 5:30.
We start at 7, 5:30 is fine.
5:30. 5:30?
5:30?
Okay.
5:30,
December 10th.
December 10th. It may run over into the planning commission too, Kate.
I think that's a guarantee.
What time is it? 5:30?
5:30. Nobody's changed that clock yet?
It's 9 o'clock.
We know it's that too, Tim. I thought I was running
Like
late.
my poor dog was crossing his legs. Let's see, where am I?
If I don't set up, I'll fall asleep. My day starts at 4.
We don't need a motion on that. That's just good to go.
I agree.
Sounds like you've got a consensus.
Huh?
Sounds like you've got a consensus and that you're
Yep.
gonna notice it.
Public hearing.
What are we moving on? 3?
That's move, right?
3 would be, if the township board would like to have the planning commission to hold a public hearing on the short-term rental. I think we could decide that on the 10th after we kind of provide more direction, so we're gonna just
Correct.
postpone that. I don't think we need a vote on that either. Back in 2015, the Van Buren County Road Commission wanted to undedicate Silver Saddle Drive because they could not have a turnaround back there. And Ron Krieger donated property to Jerry Oak, Dutch Mill. His right of way to Saddle Lake from his house that he used to have, so that they could put in this turnaround. And then some reason in 2015, they stopped that. And we still have an issue with the truck not being able to turn around, and been some discussions. And I actually found the 2015 original map that they were gonna do. And what they did is they brought in and tried to level the gravel up higher, but now he has to back into Berta Drive, and then he can't get going again without
I
back.
tried to picture this. Where is this?
Behind the Dutch Mill,
Behind the Dutch? Mill?
Silver Saddle Drive.
Okay,
Ron Krieger used to own a house, and that's where the pavement stops on that.
right, he still
Yeah.
does.
They plow it all the way to the end.
Okay, to
Yeah.
River Drive.
Then it used to be downward, so then they would heavy snow, they couldn't back up. So they raised that up instead of doing this, and then he backs down into Berta, so now he's having a problem starting at Berta. And then he ends up backing up farther.
Okay, so where they wanna take these trees out?
There's a map,
Is it before Berta Drive, where those little trees are on that knoll?
this, on Jerry Polk's property, they're gonna take the trees out on the corner as you go to Hill Drive.
Hmm.
Now, Hill Drive has the
Yeah.
right of way to come around
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
So they're gonna take those out, and they gotta move electrical pole. And then they're gonna put a turnaround, so the guy can go there, turn around, and come right back out,
okay.
like they originally planned in
Okay.
2015.
It's where that new house is, behind that, in that area.
Correct, where the silos are.
Okay,
And we have some money in the budget right now with the road still, that we could do some of this work, like get the trees down and get the electrical moved. And then finish it up with next year, and then they're gonna give me a price, and I told them price both ways, paved and gravel, and then we'll bring it back to the board and see which way they wanna go.
okay.
If we're gonna go forward with it, so. The question is, do you wanna go forward with it?
Is there an estimate? I mean, do we have an approximate, do we have a ballpark figure?
3,000. Yeah,
Not now, that's what they're preparing for me, and I would bring that in here before I would go farther ahead, but, right now they're working on getting the budget for me. They didn't know about the trees and the electrical, they know about the rest.
yeah, at least.
The rest isn't gonna take much if we just stay gravel, and I would recommend we stay with gravel.
It looks like they allocated $3,000 back in
That was back
2015.
then, a long time ago.
But, so they just never did it. They voted to do it and never did it.
Jackson.
Yeah, I asked them if they would honor the 3,000, and they said, I don't think they knew the trees and the electrical had to be moved. And I think that's why they made the other move. So.
Well, since this has already been approved once, all we need to do is, we don't need to vote on it or anything, do we? Just say, go ahead.
Well, the money wise is only 3,000. And we're not doing the whole project. I'm gonna bring it back, so I'm not. I wanted to make you aware of it. I don't even think we even need to vote on it if we're all in concurrence
Right,
that go
right.
get the estimates and
Right,
let's go after the project when we know what it's gonna cost.
yep.
So why don't we just postpone that and we'll, come back to it when
Well, are you
when I got
gonna,
more data.
you gonna get an estimate from the road commission then?
Yeah, I'm gonna get, what it's gonna cost this year.
Okay, okay.
I told him I need an estimate before we go forward.
It's good to know about.
Huh?
It's good to know about.
Yep. Gary, I got your rules, put in here. What would you like done with that? You want some magnetic signs that you can put them on that container?
Nope,
You
Signs
just
ready.
want, how big a sign you want?
signs are already on the container.
Huh?
Signs are already on the container.
Oh,
They're stick-on signs. They're about this, but, well, what they are is this right here. Here. That's one for everybody. That's what I'm gonna hand out when I'm gonna be there for, the people that come to recycling. They're gonna, best way is gonna move the recycling container in front of the one little shed and get it out of the way. And Callie is already sent this handout. Not a handout, it's a flyer to KCI.
She might have, that you guys should discuss
Okay.
if that's allowed or not.
Kelly said that they have new funding for recycling. So, and it can help with advertising, with signage, for recycling, for new projects or ongoing transfer stations or recycling centers. So,
Who made this?
pardon?
Who made this?
Conservation district.
She's got a typo in.
That's from the Conservation District. And, so, since she said they have funding to do this, I'm assuming when I talked to her that it will cost us nothing to get these signs now. We need to have some larger signs that were at the meeting that I was at and that Kate was at. They're poster size, and I'm gonna make a frame and put it in front of the big receptacle itself, but I'm gonna be there probably the first month, every Saturday, maybe longer than that. To tell people what's good and what's bad and what's ugly. So that they know what they're supposed to do with the recycling material and how they put it in there and that sort of thing. So. There should be no cost for the signage that I'm thinking we can get from Cali, from the Conservation District, because the funding is there. And all we have to do is ask for it. Best way has these already for us that we could send out. They were printed. I had Ruth print some. And I had them do a double-sided one for the transfer station hours and stuff. And I only did a dozen of them because in January, the dates are gonna change. So I didn't do a whole bunch. So. The other thing is. Yeah, so the signage is already on the container. We don't have to worry about that. I just want to get a little larger ones. To make a frame and put it in front of the receptacle. It'll be similar to this, but they're a little bit more in detail, and they're large. They're probably 3 foot by 5 foot. And there may be a small cost to that, but I don't think so, since they already have them for their presentations and stuff. Yes, comment.
Regarding whether or not they do a mailing. The Conservation District volunteered to do a mailing.
Correct.
But my first thought, having been a treasurer in the past, is sometimes we stick these things in with the tax bills and then they go out. I did get to talk to Mary though, and she was thinking it would be more effective for the recycling to get noticed, I guess, if they do their own mailing. So I'm just letting you know that. It may be too late.
Well, an email was sent to Callie to say, hey, if you want to get this particular mailer stuffer to
KCI.
KCI,
The
it
print.
does our tax billings. go ahead and send it to them.
Right.
So whether she did that or not, I'm not sure, but I told her, well, I take that back. I did say, wait till we have a board meeting so it can be discussed on the board, because I'm only one person. And if that's what they think would be a good thing to do, then I'll let you know and you can get it to them to put in the tax bill. And also, for the larger signs, we have to redo the sign that's at the transfer station right now, because there's a lot of information on there that doesn't even need to be there. Yes,
I have a few questions for you, Gary. Are you taking grass clippings,
no,
like yard waste, no yard
No.
waste?
no,
Okay.
this is recycling for
Yeah, because-
paper, cardboard, plastics, metal, glass.
Okay, and then, are there separate bins that we have to separate by the?
There's one large bin that has several openings, but when you look in there, it's all commingled.
So therefore, we can put all of our stuff in one bag and just throw it in the bin?
Not in a bag, no bags
Oh,
allowed.
so then just empty the bag?
Empty the bag.
Okay, and you said it's what? It's glass?
Yeah, I'll give you one of these.
Okay, and then what is the cost?
None.
Zero. Can other townships use the facility?
It's the township, our township,
Just Columbia Township.
correct.
Thank you.
Is that correct that that's what you guys discussed before? That seems right.
I thought it was just our township, because we have the contract with,
We talked about it, just our township, and we talked about it,
Yeah.
there'd be no charge.
Yeah. that's right.
Yeah.
We also have, we're on the list, schedule list to pick up the tires there. I talked to Kelly about that. That's in the schedule. Exactly when that's gonna happen, I don't know, but they're gonna come in, take all the tires out. The other thing on the transfer station is that the tower is up now. It's been all put in and everything. They're running some more underground wiring things. I see there's one antenna on it, so apparently they have one customer unless it's their tower, their antenna.
They got power?
They're installing the power now. If we get, once that starts, that's one of the revisions in the budget. The $650 a month is a little over $7,800 a year.
The budget you have there, I changed it to $3,300 by the time that into this budget.
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. So finally, we're in a position to maybe, be in the red for the transfer station. Thanks to Verizon. Also, the, wiring for the attendance station is set for November 26th. And I'll be out there helping, Polisar Electric with that. And then we have enough funding in the budget that's already been approved to do the insulation interior walls. So to be set.
Do you need, any motion for any of the stuff you just talked about?
Nope,
So that was informational?
information.
Okay, the next one is consider having another budget special meeting to finish the rest of the budget items not discussed on the 18th. The budget is attached to the bottom of, I-6. That is the current budget based on our meeting. I am still missing, Great Bear Lakes budget. I did get Saddle Lake, thank you, and North Lakes. So they're in there. You're gonna see some colors on that chart, and the blue is things that we, still need to talk about. So if you look at the blue, that's what I had is what still was outstanding to have a discussion about. Our share revenue, I updated that with what's currently on the state thing for us. We lost about, $8,000. It's now $246,485. The yellow that you find in there was board actions, what they took that day. And that'll be in yellow, and you'll see that I made it the budget value that the township board provided. You'll see some stuff in a dark red or a highlighted red, and that would be a dollar value that I put in there based on probably what I heard at a board meeting, like for the transfer station recycling bins. I didn't have that in my original budget, so I put that dollar sign over there, and I still held it green that was a number that was my number, and when I left that meeting, I asked if there was any other comments there. There was none, so those are set unless you look at something in the green is where you want to focus your attention to see anything that needs to be changed. Okay?
Okay.
Well, there was some discussion about, and I highlighted that because I don't think we finished the discussion item on the cadet program and firefighters daytime pay. And then there's some blue down there that I didn't have information on that I'm trying to fill in. So that's about it with the budget. If you guys want to look at how the budget would be affected by purchasing the truck, this is the latest and greatest. You'll be able to see the fund balance for 2024-25 activity, which would be an accurate fund balance for the fire department and for the other funds. That's about all I have to say about that, except for we need to schedule a date. Jason? How long you think you're gonna need after our first one? A lot of time?
I don't think so.
Should we make it after the 10th when we have the planning commission joint meeting so that we know more about?
I think it should be after Christmas.
Huh?
I think it should be after Christmas. I mean, I'm not trying to kick it down the road, but there's a lot of stuff going.
Whatever's convenient for the rest of you, I'm available almost all the time.
I'm available almost all the
Are we
time.
thinking of Saturday again? I know Mary doesn't generally like Saturday meetings, but is that the best?
As long as there's.
Well, let's see, you're coming up on Thanksgiving weekend. Probably don't wanna do it this weekend. Oh, I got cleanup day at my mother's this Saturday all day, so I'm out on that one. 29th is the holiday weekend, so you're talking 6th.
I won't be here.
You wanna be.
You hear the 6th?
After.
I can do the 6th, 13th, 20th, might be getting a little close to Christmas, but it's open. Or I can wait till after
Sixth,
Christmas. I don't care.
Saturday, you said?
Saturday the 6th.
Yeah, I can change mine to Friday the 5th, what I have to do on Saturday.
13th better?
No, Saturday in the morning are. It used to be Thursday was my work day, but now Saturday morning is. But I can do it Friday.
Kara, are you back on the 13th?
No,
No, so 6th or 13th doesn't work for you?
no,
No wonder you wanna go after Christmas.
that's what I'm saying.
Jake, probably leave them when we leave tonight.
What time in the morning? Or afternoon, anytime, I mean, I don't care what time. Gary doesn't care what time?
10 bells,
Huh?
10 bells.
10 a.m.
Now, that's December?
December
Saturday,
6th at
December
10 a.m.
6th. Ho, ho, ho.
Ten AM?
Care we
Yeah, and that's
know
the same time we're talking about the fire truck, right? Is that too late for,
Whatever is in the budget we need to talk about, that's what we'll talk about. If that includes the fire truck, then that's part of it.
it should.
You had me take that out at our, October meeting.
Okay,
It will include the fire truck.
It's still in the budget, but
Yeah.
it'll take out, we can put it back in.
Budget.
And I'll let you know if John just completely takes that one off the market though. So,
I would think by then he will.
yeah, but at that point.
I mean, we're still trying to move forward, make a decision as fast as possible, so.
Okay, the next one is land division. We had this, I think,
This
what,
PA 116 application.
what
Yeah,
about this one?
You
What's
got it above it.
17, huh?
You got it above it, I'm sorry.
It's not like public hearing I miss all the time.
Oh, fine.
do you want me to speak to this Ken?
Did you see the map that I gave you?
I saw it here, I did not spend any time looking at it yet.
Basically, those two big long, lots right here.
Yeah. But
The 4-to-1 ratio's there, and this is all basically, like swamp area and hilly, and you can't travel on it or do anything with it.
But we're talking about an ordinance amendment that is general and not for a specific property first.
Correct, but what we're looking at is that this isn't the only property that has that same problem, and we have in the past, without an ordinance that allowed it, allowed them.
So let me say this about the ordinance first. At the last board meeting, the township board directed me to propose some amendments to the draft that was before you then. They are minimal. They're in red line under, it's not in your electronic packet. I apologize. That is my tardiness. On Roman numeral 7. Before it just had the 4-to-1 ratio, and then it basically had said the ZBA could do something different than that, and we talked about maybe there's another way to do that. So I put language in that would say the township board may approve a depth to width ratio of 6-to-1, because that was at least a placeholder that we talked about at the last meeting for the purposes of drafting. This part I'm gonna read, we're gonna talk about exclusive of access roads, easements, or non-buildable parcels. If it finds at a public meeting that the increased ratio is warranted based on the size of the parcel's topography and buildability. Topography and buildability, I've got your tongue twister thing going on. And other relevant factors inherent in the property. What I want to say is that language about exclusive of access roads, easements, or non-buildable parcels is not from the statute. I only included that because you have it in the draft above for the 4-to-1 ratio. The statute just speaks to a 4-to-1 ratio, not exclusive of anything. So I think there needs to be discussion on that because that could kind of thwart that ratio. In a case like this, if you're saying, well, we're not gonna count any part that's not buildable. That could be 3/4 of the parcel, so you still could wind up with a parcel that violates that ratio strictly, but it depends on how you count it. So that's the language I brought back for further discussion. By the board, it doesn't have to be adopted tonight, it can be adopted tonight, all I've done is present that additional language for your consideration. And we can't approve, something specific that requires this amendment unless and until this is approved.
So, just take any example, like somebody comes in here, they can't meet the 4-to-1 ratio. And then they can't meet the 6-to-1 ratio, and yet the whole back of their yard on both the parcels that they have, there's not good for the parent parcel that would go on the backside of it, because there's no farmland, it's green. not buildable back there, it's not any land use that you could use it for farming. What ordinance that you just proposed allow us to grant them the split like a larger than allowed?
It's gonna depend on the amount, because like I said, I kept that language that you had in the 4-to-1 that said exclusive of access roads, easements. Or non-buildable parcels, which is again, not maybe the best wording, and we might wanna change that, because it's really non-buildable areas.
Right,
And how do we decide non-buildable? And I think that's a concern that I had, and that's why I'm saying I brought this back to you, but it's for just further discussion. Because just because an applicant says, well, it's not buildable, how does the township board determine that and determine what portion is not buildable for purposes of that ratio? It's much easier to just have the parcel must meet this ratio, and it doesn't have to be 6-to-1. But, you know, the policy of the Land Division Act is to not have these long skinny parcels and to get away from that. So I get it's difficult when you're faced with a specific case, and it may have to be divided in a different way and into multi, you know, if divisions are available into more smaller parcels. Or combined in a different way, right? But my recommendation is not necessarily the exact wording that I have here. I brought this because that's what I was, you know, what I was tasked with. But I think you just pick a, you know, have your 4-to-1 gets approved. Have another higher ratio that the township board can approve based on those factors. But I wouldn't have that exclusive of access roads. I think that makes it really difficult to figure out.
But you see our problem.
I'm sorry?
You see our problem.
Well, I'm not sure if it's your problem.
does addressing this specific issue though, this request require us to do anything like that with that? Because I thought someone had proposed if you split that long skinny parcel this way, put an easement up to it, these two parcels meet the 4-to-1 ratio, then that's compliant.
If they meet the 4-to-1 ratio, you don't have to do any of this.
Okay. I think if I remember right, the measurements would allow for that to meet the 4-to-1, wouldn't they, Ken?
No, they have 1,300 feet by 160.
Right, but if you made a parcel in the back where the unbuildable part is, so that those two parcels are now 4-to-1, and you put an easement to the third parcel in the back, it's a family compound anyway, so they're not gonna care.
That wasn't really what they're worried about. They're worried about that if the one child ended up divorcing, then the other child's backyard would be by whoever.
Well, that part we can't deal with.
I mean, they have all these reasons why they want that, but the bottom line is that it's just a small piece of parcel that they're trying to.
They may not be able to do what they wanna do.
Well, and I'm okay with that.
I mean, you guys write the ordinance, you're the legislators here, but if you carve out too many exceptions in your ordinance. You're gonna wind up having the kind of parcel sizes that I
Right.
think the whole statute was designed to prevent.
That's why I was asking if this particular situation has a solve that doesn't require
Yeah, I don't.
changing the
I
ordinance.
don't know enough about the measurements of
Okay.
that, and I wasn't asked to kind of do that analysis, so I don't wanna commit to that.
So then the issue at hand is. We have this particular individual situation, but then you're proposing a possible draft.
Correct,
Change.
there were other amendments, if we go back to last month's meeting, these weren't the only amendments, right, Ken?
Yeah, I think I had one that I sent to you that allowed the zoning board of
Yeah,
appeals.
that part I
Yeah.
simply struck.
Yeah, we struck that, yeah.
If there's going to be, I think that's a township board, it's not a zoning thing.
Yeah.
But I was thinking the original that I made the changes to. This wasn't the only change that you were proposing originally, right? I might have to look back, and my memory fades after 9 p.m.
But this was not in the digital packets.
No.
Could you just send that to
Yeah,
us
I
and we
really
could review it?
Yeah, I really think you should put it to your next meeting.
Okay, I agree.
Do you think she should look at this individual case as well?
It's, if you went to our, September meeting, I think it doesn't.
She
I was
wasn't,
here, but I didn't give a legal
Right.
opinion on the measure
and she
stuff.
could.
She
Maybe.
could.
Well, I don't think we were asking, we're looking for a generic way that the township board can take a look at a situation out there where we're doing a land division and where it just really doesn't make sense not to allow something like the family or any situation where if you can't use the backyard, why not allow the split to go all the way back?
And I think you can do that, where you can allow a greater ratio based on factors like that. You just gotta decide what that ratio is. Objectively, without reference, to one specific parcel necessarily.
And I think that's what we're looking, no, correct me if I'm wrong, is that what we're looking for?
As long as you don't have too many restrictions, like Laura said, because I mean, they're worried about a divorce and this and that, and you can't cover all this stuff.
Well, and I don't think we should, I was just telling you what they were saying is why they didn't want to do that, but they're also saying nobody can ever use that property in the back. It's just not buildable, it's not usable, and
It's not a problem.
they wanted to give an equal share to each kid, otherwise one kid's gonna get something, the other one's gonna get
None of
something.
that's our problem.
Huh?
As citizens and none of that's our problem.
That's their problem.
None of that's our problem.
Well, I agree with that.
That's a tough problem to have
Right.
downstairs.
My problem is we've done it like 5 times before.
Again, we can't go back and fix the past.
I told them 2 wrongs don't make a right. And I told them I'd look at it to see if we could do something to maybe fix this.
Okay, so
I don't think we should make them wait for an answer while we're sorting out a much larger ordinance issue. I
Yeah.
think, would you look at the splits and I feel like there's a way to divide that is compliant with our current ordinance, I think. But you would be the ultimate authority on that.
So I'll do that.
And then we'll take the other draft to the next meeting and
Yeah,
consider that
take
separately.
care of it.
I just don't wanna hold them up because they
Right.
came 2 months ago to say, can we do this with our property? And we said, we'll get back to you.
Okay.
So let's get back to them.
Got it.
Well, the answer is that they can't do that to their property. Tasha has, or not Tasha, but Noah, Tasha and
Danielle.
Danielle
Not as proposed.
have.
I'm saying, is there another way they could divide it?
Correct. Yeah, well, we looked at that too. We gave 3 or 4 different ways of doing it. Putting a road down the center, making another parcel in the back.
You did that after the meeting where they were here?
We did that at some time when we were think tanking after the first meeting when
That was a-
Danielle and Tasha.
there was a discussion about that. There was no action.
There's no action,
Okay.
just thinking outside the box.
Got it.
So we're just,
So,
we're just sending
postpone
that back to our attorney for further consideration. Oh, you got that already. So we're not gonna take any action by board.
Right.
Okay, you're on.
Okay, so. An application was received for the Farmland and Open Space Preservation Program by Robert Dykes, and Lori Dykes. We have 45 days to approve. I've sent this to the Conservation District and the County Planning Commission for comment. Their meetings, I think tomorrow, so they can't provide official comment. I was talking to Emily Hickmott at the Conservation District. I thought I included her email.
It's in there.
Yeah. So she kind of provided me her idea of it. Basically, from what I learned, it's it's designed to protect farmland and open space through agreements that restrict development and provide tax incentives for program participation others. So we just have to approve it or deny it.
Well, if I read this correctly, we can take no action on it because we haven't received the input from the conservation district yet.
So.
Is that correct?
We have 45 days and I think that we have like 2 days left.
But I think one of the options was either approve it, deny it, or take no action on it because we don't have the input from the conservation district, even though we're gonna run out of the 45 days. Because of the scheduling of their meetings. Am I reading that wrong?
Does this harm or benefit? the
No,
township
no,
anyway?
like from my research, it doesn't reduce any of our tax revenue. There's 0 cost to the township. The farmer's tax credit comes off their state income tax, not our revenue. Our budget wouldn't be effective. We can't deny just based on terms of like, we don't like it or we don't
Right.
want land locked up. Pretty much denial would be because the parcel is not zoned for ag. It doesn't meet the minimum acreage or production requirements. It helps protect our land because it prevents it from being sold off for subdivisions, supports agriculture viability. And this agreement's between the landowner and the state. Our role is just to verify that the application was completed correctly. And that we voted to approve or deny it based on the criteria and forward the paperwork to the state.
Well, she's recommending we put something in our meeting minutes
Yeah.
Correct.
and,
So is this parcel in ag and meat, whatever? Right here, we don't.
The other thing, I was looking at this application and on number 15,
Yeah, it's ag vacant.
I'm sorry,
It's ag vacant.
yeah, but he's got marked on there 2 or more per people. And then if that's applicable, you're supposed to have their names on there and there's nobody listed. So I don't think the application,
To verify that, and he did say it was Lori Dykes, which is on the first page. Cause you questioned that, so I added that form, it's not on this attached one. And she signed also as co-owner if applicable.
Laura, is this just a reclassification of a parcel so that it can't be
It's
like preservation of this parcel?
reclassification, it has tax benefits for the property owner typically, and I don't mean to say this as like, it's the way it's supposed to do, but typically when my township plans get these, they approve them pretty routinely. And if it's not approved within the 45 days, it's deemed rejected, and then they can appeal that to the state. I don't believe it has any adverse impact on the township.
said it had to be done before November 1st to be effective for the current tax year.
Yeah. So it's gonna delay, they're gonna be delayed a year because they didn't file it early enough.
Can we approve it without receiving word back from the county?
Yeah.
And things like that, okay.
Yeah, and her guidance on the conservation, she said just include in the minutes that like, we haven't received the comment yet. So the Department of Ag knows,
Yeah, Department of Ag will still review it, they could reject it even if we approve
Yeah.
it, so.
Dixie, do you have?
so after the 30-day period, the township can proceed with or without comments from reviewing agencies. So so we can still get or approve it without comments.
under number 15, names don't need to be listed if there are two, because it says, if applicable, list the following individual names if more than two.
Yes.
Good catch. I make a motion, we approve this.
A second.
Any comments, Gary? Jason, Carr? None? Roll call vote, Jason?
Yes.
Cara?
Yeah.
Ken, yes, Gary?
Yes,
Mary's absent. J2, we have, someone that made an offer to purchase, land in Little Bear subdivision. This property is between Fire Lane 7 and 8, across the street from where he owns property is a trailer that's taken part way apart and pretty, bad area. He is aware of it. He's only offering us, $750. We normally, minimum bid would be 400. The two lots that he's asking for are together. They do not make up a buildable lot, but will make his parcel added to it a buildable lot.
on this map that you got here,
Huh?
this green,
Yeah,
is that his now, or is that the one he wants to buy? Because Columbia Township is up at the corner. Is this the one that he's trying
that's,
to buy?
that's the one he's trying to buy. That's what he
Okay,
owns.
okay,
I just wanted to show where he owns right now and that you'd know that he had property where he's trying to buy. Then it's a little low, but I think where it's located, I think that we probably ought to accept that.
Does he know there's a moratorium on short-term rentals?
I did tell him that.
Probably
soon.
gonna be one of those places that go in and.
Make sure we get those flyers out, guys.
They are, right?
now
Do
you
that
want,
right now.
now you want to hear the other thing? There's a procedure we're supposed to use
Ken,
to sell these properties,
Why I brought it to the board,
and that means bidding.
huh?
That means putting it out for bid. Now,
good deed.
I don't really care if you wanna, if nobody else is interested in this, I don't have an issue with it, other than if you have,
We have sold them before, right? Somebody sending in a email to me asking to purchase a property unsolicited. And I bring it to the board for them to decide if they wanna sell it or not.
so he approached,
He sent me an email
okay,
and then he sent me an offer to purchase.
okay.
And it's up to the board if they wanna sell it or not. I told you, I think it's a low price, but
What's the taxable value, or what's the SEV of it?
I,
Well, since we have it, we don't pay taxes on it, it's
Yeah.
probably gonna be zero.
will probably be equivalent to what his lot is. He said he paid less than $700 for his lot, 2 lots. From the owner.
Anybody got any other comments?
Two, one, you do wanna make sure you can't just give away on public property, right? So there should be some understanding of what the value is of the property. Two, if this is approved, the deed supervisor is not the seller.
Did you hear that?
Is what?
The deed is written so that Ken is selling the property. That would not be correct, the township. would be
Right,
selling
right.
The property, so
Right,
don't sign that deed even if you approve this.
Didn't I say township
It
of
says
Columbia?
the supervisor.
Don't say it's, well, I must have been drinking that night.
That a common thing?
well, and here it says the township owns the corner lot.
Right.
Sorry, does this need to go up for bid?
There's no law that
It's zero.
requires it unless you
Says
have a
it's zero.
policy you've adopted. that I'm not aware,
Look
I
at the
don't
one under it.
have one or not,
The
but
parcel
you generally
below
can't,
that
for
would be.
$100,000, you can't sell it for $750.
I told you,
Right.
parcel viewer.
I would say if somebody wants to buy those two lots and live in Blair.
Type in BVCO
let 'em
parcel
have it.
If
viewer.
it's worth $1,000, you can sell it for $750.
We're not getting anything right now.
Yeah, and
That's
that's a
right,
crappy
that's
place
right.
over there.
You want interactive maps?
Oh, it's loading.
Now, Ken, will there be a fee for the deed registry?
Yeah, that'll be added to it. I have the form at the house or at my desk hanging up on how to calculate it.
Yeah,
So there won't be
Because
a
we-
transfer tax.
Huh?
There won't be any transfer tax,
Does it less than,
because it's, should be exempt, right, because it's public entities to sell it.
What do you want me to-
I might be wrong about that, but. Too bad your realtor member's not.
I think when they go in to file it with a register of deed, there's a fee for them.
For recording, I was talking about the. transfer
Recording.
tax.
Yeah, recording fee. Over there, it should say that cash value.
Cash value $2,800, state equalized
That's
value
okay.
$1,400.
You say it's worth $2,400.
Oh, so this one's residential and this is commercial,
what?
Probably because it's
because
township.
it's township. I would assume.
You're saying his
So-
current property is valued at 2,800?
Yeah. Cash value, SEV 1,400.
This sounds like a steal for him.
We should, I think we should sell it. Question is, do we want to counter offer or not? But I mean, it doesn't sound like we're talking pennies, right?
Yeah,
But having paid the recording fee and we have failed to get things recorded.
I'm gonna
before,
walk
I
it
know
over and
you're gonna
record
be
it.
Really,
I'll walk it over and record it. There's no more letting them have it.
and you're sure this wasn't sold to somebody else and was never recorded?
yeah, what about a
This
title
one
search?
has not
We've
been
been
sold
through
to somebody else,
before.
but so Mary Brigette did a lot of shady stuff. But I will go over to the courthouse and do it, pull all the sales on it and make sure that we got it.
All you gotta do is call register of deeds, give them this plat number, give them this parcel number, and I'll tell you who owns it.
Over the phone?
Yeah,
Oh, I've done that before. They told me Columbia Township, but I need to get to once before.
oh,
I need to make sure there's a transfer to Columbia Township.
well, okay,
I make a motion that we sell this parcel for $750
Plus recording.
plus
fee.
recording fees. Thank you.
to Mr.
What
Jacob,
he paid by, what he paid.
Mr. Tibbetts.
Jason's made a motion. Can I get a second?
Second,
Gary? Swanee? Jason?
Yes.
Gary?
yes,
Kara?
Yeah,
And Kenzie, yes.
you need the property parcel number in that, Kara?
I have it.
It's 8006-281-62100. You're just gonna copy and paste that?
Don't forget to fix the deed, Ken.
I wanna throw something out here. Are the remaining items J3 through J16, anything that needs to be decided tonight?
You getting tired?
Well, it's late. I think when you get tired, you might make snappier decisions that you might regret. And we have a lot of extra meetings coming up in the next month, so. If that could be moved to a lighter agenda,
I believe we need, J3 is the Construction Board of Appeals. Right now, we're operating without that. And right now, we have, a contract with the Michigan Township Association that is, running inspectors for us. And the state of Michigan requires that we have a Construction Board of Appeals.
how long has it been since we've had one of those, though?
The last time I saw was 2014 when they joined with Antwerp Township. And we have never had, anyone go to the Board of Appeals, but since we're in violation, I thought, and we found it, I thought it would be important that we move forward with that, expeditiously.
Is that correct?
If my office provided the documents, when you adopt them is up to you. How's that for a,
But we are currently non-compliant.
to the best of my knowledge, correct?
Well, we're meeting
I
again
think
on
for context,
Saturday.
I think this came up about appointing members to a construction board of appeals, and then we looked at it and said, well, you don't have a construction board of appeals that was ever actually constituted. So we need to take a step back before we can appoint people to it.
For the approval.
So we have to do the bylaws and all that.
We cannot appoint people to something that does not exist.
Is this something that we didn't need when we had the state doing it?
Did you have the state doing it?
Yeah,
The state was not doing the building and electrical. We are adding, or we did add, the township board approved to hire a mechanical inspector. And when I was looking at the, application, it required that we have a,
If you're
Construction Board of
doing it,
Appeals.
if you're doing the enforcement, then you have to have this. If you're not doing the enforcement, then you don't. But if you're doing it, then you do.
well, or we're doing enforcement through Michigan Township Services.
Yeah, if MTA's doing it, we stopped to have it.
Well, I think you are designating them to be your official, right? Essentially.
For everything except
Yeah.
mechanical, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the state's not doing it,
yeah, if the enforcement's not done through township services,
but you're contracting with them.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Township Service does not have a, construction board of appeals.
they're acting as your agent.
And yeah, and when I told Tasha that we didn't have one, she like, well, you better get one.
Yeah. Yeah, just because you contracting, you're still doing it. You're just doing it through a contractor.
The committee or the board is supposed to meet in the first,
To your point, nothing bad is going to happen if this is adopted in December.
That was the answer.
well, our 30 days have publication, then we don't have our first meeting in January, which is required by law, right?
I'm not sure what you just said.
You need a meeting.
What I'm saying is, it says that in the first week of January, the Construction Board of Appeals is supposed to meet.
Well, not yet, because you haven't adopted the bylaws that say that.
So we could wait till next year then, following year, 27.
Yeah, I do not foresee any legal risk or consequence to this being.
Okay. Well, I don't care what we do.
Well, I think,
I'm not trying to shirk any decisions that need to be made. I'm just saying if, I know there was some question brought up about the staggered terms on the planning commission, which seems like we need to clarify that
right,
before we appoint anyone new or renew their terms. So just wondering, like, could we bundle all this up and move this to next month?
I would think that's a good idea.
Is that a motion? Oh, no.
If it needs a motion,
I'd
it is
Get
a
it done
motion.
and over with and move on to the next big.
Doesn't need a
problem that comes
motion
up
because
next
it's on
month.
the approved.
That'll let them all pile up.
Right.
Moving to postpone these.
I make a
Each
motion
one?
to postpone J3 through J16 to our December meeting.
Now, the 16th.
Oh, wait, 16 was the grass vehicle, sorry.
Motion to postpone item J3
Through J15,
till the December regular meeting.
yes.
Jason made a motion, got a second?
Second.
Or, you don't need a roll call vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nay, ayes carry.
Was,
No, you-
I'm sorry,
no, you
was that, you were an A vote, Ken?
I was unable, yeah.
Okay.
I think it needs to be done. Now, you wanna make a motion to get rid of all the rest of them?
That he did.
Well, that did all that too?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You still need an individual.
Well, no, I mean, no, if you didn't get rid of the whole rest of the meeting, you still.
No,
have-
yeah, we still have the
Right.
meeting. So we're on the last item.
Well, we're gonna do 16?
We can't do a closed session.
We can't do a closed session.
I thought you got took that off the agenda.
We
You did
had
not
to-
take it off the agenda.
No, you didn't. You
Oh.
just removed the closed session part.
I think, or did you take, perhaps you did.
Just to remove the closed session.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a little lost there. J through J15 has been removed from the agenda package?
No, it's been postponed
postponed.
until December regular
All of the
meeting.
postponed.
J3 to J15.
Okay.
And
J16, I think was settled when, we said that we were not going to, bid on the, grass fire unit from South Haven, correct? Didn't we say that as part of your? I see no reason to have any discussion farther than what we already had. Everyone agree with that?
Yes.
So that's not even to postpone, that's just kill it. Okay, time for public comment,
I have one.
huh?
I have one.
Okay,
J.C. Robertson, live at 55130 County Road 34. Been there for 24 years. I think we should, have people say where they live. If you're gonna mouth off, we should know where you live. And make sure that you actually live here and not someplace else. 3 hours is unconscionable, folks. There's no reason this should have taken 3 hours. There is no human being in the world that can focus for 3 hours, especially if you're retired. I'm not retired yet. I'm getting ready to be. I can't focus for 3 hours, and it's ridiculous to think that we can make logical decisions. Be succinct with your talking, shut your pie hole when it's not your turn. Get it done. There's no reason for any of this. That's my opinion. My students that I've been teaching over the years, you get 20 to 30 minutes of good, solid learning time. You fill it up with griping or with 5 pages of agenda. People are gonna give up before we even start. You look at them out and you're like, forget it. I'm either gonna be mad, I'm gonna fight you until I win, or I'm gonna ignore it all. It's time to start doing it better. We deserve, as citizens, we deserve better. As a community, we deserve to do better. We need to hold each other up to that and stop pissing and moaning about every dang leaf that blows into somebody else's yard. Let's start being good neighbors as opposed to trying to find a way to kick everybody.
Lori?
I just have a question on Jacob Pivots. It says satellite sub quick claim. Is that a misprint?
Yeah, that should have been,
Little Blair.
Little Bear subdivision.
I'm J2 on the backside.
Yep.
Right.
State, SDACE.
Was. State. Any other comment? Go ahead, Karen.
Okay. In fairness to Jason, there was a comment that was made earlier. Did everybody see what just happened? I want you to know I did. And I don't know if you knew what he meant. He had made a good faith vote that you flipped right over in bad faith on your part. So I'm saying it out loud. We can rerun the film if you want to see it. So other than that, there were a lot of productive things. It was a long meeting, but there were a lot of productive things that happened. So I just want to say happy Thanksgiving.
Any correspondence? Nope. Gary, final comments?
No, I just want to thank everybody for their input and their patience this evening. Based on some of the comments, but I think they needed to be made. Other than that, I've worked on a method to have some of these campers and RVs towed and how to get rid of them. We talked with Victory Lane Towing. And he came up with some very interesting ways of taking care of this problem that our illustrious sheriff, Dan Abbott, is all in favor for it. So it'll be taken care of with routine paperwork that's legal. And we'll be able to move these items to an area that I'll bring up to the board. Doesn't have to be in a meeting because it has nothing to do with any money situations or anything, but it's just it's a convenient way to impound these things. It's the only comment I have. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much turkey.
Kara?
I'll piggyback off of JC's comment. Geneva's meetings are like an hour or less.
That is too long.
It keeps young people from wanting to participate. It's just, seriously. Old people can sleep until 10 o'clock. We gotta go to work tomorrow morning.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Jason, you have a comment?
Well, adjourn at
Wait,
what?
I'm gonna ask Jason if he had a comment.
Agreed. Agreed. Thank you guys for coming. I just want to encourage, maybe we can help spread the word in the community to be good neighbors as we face difficult issues as a township. The best way to solve them is going to be lots of dialogue and lots of just open, honest communication and trying to work together to have the best solve. There's too much binary division in society right now where it's like, it's either this or that. Those are the only two answers. And I just don't believe that's true all the time. Sometimes it is, but I'm encouraged that you guys are here and participating, and I'm looking forward to working with you on this issue.
I would just like to make a brief injection here that if the attitude of people would change in the regard that how can I help instead of what's in it for me, you might find out we can all work together a lot easier and better.
Do I have to make a motion to adjourn?
No, just say, we'll adjourn the meeting at 10:05.
1:05.
Harry, do you need help with
No,
the
Harry's
Christmas
not
lights? I don't want to do that. You need help with
Nine.
like John wanted to know. Lights, Christmas lights.
Get out like 8:30 and alarm. We're not allowed to talk any longer.
I have been some that are longer.
That's fine.
I have been.
I didn't get that memo. Okay.
What?
There you go. Don't worry about it.
Well, Jason, I can.
But have you been in here that it's bad?
Oh, I've been way worse.
I didn't use that.
Oh, hey, you only use 4 out of 5?
Is that RV still there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Wednesday, Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
The tow truck's gonna be there. I couldn't get a.
Oh,